All right, 6:02 in the Rose City. Time for Dirt and Sprague on Portland Sports Leader, 105.1 The Fan and The Fan Sports Network. Good morning. Happy Thursday, everybody.
What is happening?
Not quite rainy yet,
No.
but it's a nice little chilly Thursday morning.
Feels like football weather for the first time, does it not?
Pad up.
The leaves are falling.
Hog 'em up, Sikorsky.
You walk out your front door, you see your breath. Ooh, it's a good feeling. Spooky
it's a
season,
great
football
feeling.
season. October's the best, dude. I love October.
Yeah,
It's just the best. You can't beat it. It's just wonderful, delightful, amazing. Big fan of the month of October.
Hog 'em up, Sikorsky.
absolutely.
I'll hog 'em up, Sikorsky.
How was everybody's Wednesday?
It was pretty good. Pretty good. Not if your baseball team lost, probably not great.
Can we start walking Schwarber?
That was like his first game of getting a hit.
Yeah, and
His average was literally 0.
in the series until then. Might as well keep throwing to him until he hits one out of the ballpark, and then he hit one out of the ballpark.
Yet.
I shouldn't have asked that question because I knew he'd
Yeah.
selfishly take over. When
You
you're
knew.
wearing a jersey that has your nickname on the back of it,
right.
He's got his
you're
Kraken
never
jersey
not
on.
going to become a selfish, it's all about me person.
I got fired up buying a Futures MVP ticket on Shaden Sharp last night. Why not? Let's jump into the mix here, baby.
I mean, look.
Guy's cooking.
He is cooking. He's cooking with gas, evidently.
Contract year. You're going to get the best out of him. Here he comes. Are we going to regret only offering him $90 million after one preseason game? It was a nice little day of sports yesterday.
I was wondering if he was going to walk away and get 95 walking out of the building and
Just
say,
right
there it goes.
Boom. Here's your contract. We're going to bump $5 million on top of this thing. You sign this. We'll make it a
Jody's
deal.
last move,
Giving him the deal.
giving him the deal.
She gets final say still. Jody's still around. Jody, where you at? Jody, Bert, wake up. We got an MVP.
It's got to be weird to be a new owner and you walk in and you be like, hey, man, you have $200 million contracts on these books.
Yeah.
What?
Wait, what? I didn't sign anybody to a $100 million
I
contract.
owe them this money?
I got to pay them all this stuff?
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you can't get out of these bad boys. They're not going anywhere.
Oh, man. It was a weird Wednesday for me because I had basketball practice with the girls.
Yes. Hoop
So-
season is here.
Well,
Never really ended, but
it was
now
the
it's
fall season.
back.
It's the fall season.
fall season.
Fall ball.
Got it.
Fall ball.
So when does the real basketball season start? Is this the
like
real
early November?
Early November. Okay.
Like
we're almost-
Halloween-ish.
Okay, got it.
That's usually when the basketball
About
season
November,
starts.
going into the winter months.
Yeah, so I had to have all the sports going on my phone.
Yeah.
Minus the Blazer game. I got home and watched I saw the last 2 minutes of the second quarter, and then
Okay.
I watched going into the fourth quarter.
That's not too bad. So you got home in a relatively decent time.
Talk about no energy, no vibe. How about an NBA preseason arena?
That's not a lot of juice there, man.
It sounded like a high school gym of like an 0-15 high school team.
I had it. I did not have the sound up.
There was no, it didn't matter. There was no difference.
Yeah. I just wish I had the ability to watch it on an iPad because that would have been an iPad game for me, and there was baseball stuff going on. Thankfully, the games, by the time everything was starting, were basically over. Like the Phillies jumped on L.A. So you're like, all right, I can go big screen for this for a while, and we'll be okay.
Yeah, the Blue Jays just about had it wrapped up.
Yeah, that thing was almost over by the time the Blazer game started. So I kept an eye on it just in case it got wonky in the ninth inning, and then watched most of the first half of the Blazer game last night.
Yeah, that's the only kind of hang up with it is like it's back to
sucks.
the 2 TV situation for
Yes.
me, not the iPad TV situation.
It's not good. If you get like a delightful Monday Night Football game going head-to-head
Yeah.
against the Blazers, it's going to be a bit of a challenge because Monday Night Football is awesome, and I love it, and I don't want to lose it.
Got
and
a doubleheader this week.
We do have a doubleheader on Monday Night Football this week.
We do?
We have
We
another
do.
one, and it's one of those ones where they're going on at the same time, too. It's not like it's one game and then another game. It's one game and then like an hour later the other game kicks off.
You're going to tell me I'm wrong on this because you're
Yeah.
Mr. Schedule Man over there.
Bears and Commies, I know, is one of that's the
That's
second
the
game.
second one.
think it's
Bills
Buffalo.
at Falcons.
I
is
feel
the
like
first
this
one.
is more they've done this year than I've ever remembered having
Well,
multiple.
I'm guessing
I agree with that take.
doubleheaders.
I agree with that
ESPN
take.
and ABC said, "Hey, you're making us pay nearly as much as everybody else, and we're getting the shaft. So
Can we get more games?
can we either
You
get
think
better-
Monday's getting the shaft? Thursday's absolutely gotten the shaft the most.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But I also think that ESPN pays a lot more for their
Yeah, see,
deal
I think
with the
they-
NFL than Amazon does.
Well, I would argue Sunday night's also gotten some of the shaft. Like
Yeah.
after that Bills-Ravens game, we had a real stretch of garbage.
They got Lions Chiefs this Sunday.
Yeah,
so.
they got a good one on paper, but like largely it's been kind of garbage.
It has, yeah. Last week ended up being a good game with New England and Buffalo, but on
Yep.
paper going in, we weren't. That was like, we'll see if New England can do anything. Wasn't super exciting going in. Ended up being a good game. Thursday night football has kind of been that way too, where you're like, oh, this game's going to suck. And then it comes down to the wire.
The other problem is it's Thursday night football, so there's always the potential of the teams not quite being all put together.
Right. We had 48 hours to prep for this.
After Ravens-Bills, we had Falcons-Vikings. Remember that one?
I do remember that one. Yeah. Nobody could get a first down the entire game.
22-6.
Yeah, that was ugly.
Then we had that Chiefs-Giants game.
That's right.
And I know it was exciting, but it ended in a tie, Packers-Cowboys. And we as Americans watching professional American football,
we're out on that.
Hate the way that ends.
We're out on that.
You're a Nottingham Forest fan now, so you accepted it.
I said American football, not football.
As a European soccer fan, you're all about ties now. How many points did the Packers get for that tie?
You're
you get
embracing
a point?
the spirit of competition.
What did that do to their tables in the NFC North? Did the tables shift after that tie?
It's not shaking it much.
Not shaking
the tables are out of whack.
Tables are out of whack now.
Also, as a Forest fan, if my team ties, I'm ecstatic because my team sucks.
Just get a point, baby. Get points.
Just get a point.
Play defense. Get one goal, and then everybody compact defensively and just boot it back to the other end of the field.
Well, and it's not like you have to be in the 30s or 40s to make it a good game, but even that Pats-Bills game, it was 23-20.
Yeah, it's pretty low scoring.
Low scoring, kind of affair, a lot of 3-and-outs and weird turnover stuff. So, outside of Ravens-Bills, Sunday night,
I mean, I'm not opposed to the doubleheader on Monday Night Football. Usually one game ends up being a dud anyway, so it kind of gives you that extra layer of security just in case, like Bills and Falcons being the first game. You tell me Buffalo wins that one, although we shouldn't trust them very much, but if that ends up being a dud, then at least you get another game to be like, all right, they're up by 17. Let's watch the other game.
Following week, we get another one, and it's a true doubleheader because the Seahawks have the late game at 7.
Oh, we're doing that again?
You see what I'm saying? This is more than
like
we've
every
ever
week,
had.
dude. This is constant.
I remember the beginning of the season having a doubleheader.
Always week one. There was one in the first week of the year,
Yeah.
and that was basically it for Monday Night Football. And it was always Berman calling the second game.
You get the Bucks at Lions at 4 o'clock.
Oh, that's a good game.
Texans at Seahawks at 7.
You're also just kind of killing my Sunday with these. I love having... I don't like windows where there's 2 games going on.
Agreed, completely.
I like a balanced schedule here.
And it always gets out of whack. You get a huge chunk of games in the morning, and then in the afternoon, there's 3 or 4 games. And if 2 of those suck, then you're kind of out of luck.
I was running a drill last night with my team.
Move, pass.
I stopped him, and one girl was struggling with confidence, and I was like, do you think LeBron makes all his shots and has 0 turnovers in practice? And she goes, well, no. And I was like, how does he do in the games? Well, pretty good. I go, yeah, he's debatably a 1 or 2 best player, a great basketball player. I was just saying that, just as an example, quickly moving on.
Now's your time to learn lessons.
And a player interrupts me and goes, no, he's not.
Ooh.
And I went, what? No, he's not what?
That'll get Sprague going.
He's not 1 or 2.
Not even top 10. He's not clutch.
Excuse me?
Never took the final shot. Always passed out of the big moment.
Yeah, never a Game 7 in Miami against Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs.
Left flop.
Anyways, she says that just as she's factually correct.
Yes.
And I said, I mean, okay, who is then?
Yeah, give me your Mount Rushmore, girl.
She goes, well, Michael Jordan.
Of course, number 1.
And I go, you're 13 years old. You've never watched Michael Jordan play basketball. You're just going to say what your dad says. And she goes, no, I'm not. And I go, yeah, you are. And she goes,
he retired 25 years ago.
You got into a yes,
you
you are, no,
argument.
you're not argument with
yeah,
a 13-year-old.
you are. No, you're not. Yeah, you are.
I go,
you get Sprague going on LeBron. That'll do it for him. That'll do it to him.
No, I went, Michael Jordan is great. Most people do consider him the best basketball player, but your dismissal of LeBron I will not stand for. And she goes, well, it's Michael Jordan. And then maybe Steph Curry.
Yeah, I agree.
And I went, Steph Curry, the second best of all time? And she goes, yeah. And I go, well, your Michael Jordan take, you're just stealing from your dad. And Steph Curry either has kind eyes or he's the only real name that you see highlights of in basketball anymore.
What was their head-to-head record in the finals, Sprague? Huh? Who got more rings in those matchups? Curry better than LeBron.
So she tells me no again. And then she proceeds to, immediately after she says, that's not why I'm saying that. She goes, but my dad says, and I go, thank you.
From my boy.
Thank you.
That's my whole argument.
And my daughter starts laughing because she's seen me get into these arguments before
with other people.
And she knew that her friend was going to
get you
cite
going.
her dad for having the opinion because she's 13 and she never watched Michael Jordan play.
That's
basketball.
been ingrained in the DNA. That's a big Michael Jordan family right there. You got to get that in the kids early.
When you're on YouTube, quit watching K-pop demons. Go see some archival footage there.
Yeah, but they won't.
No,
kids
they
don't
won't.
watch sports like that
No,
anymore.
they don't
They're not
care.
even interested in the history. They just say what their dad says.
They don't care about 1998 NBA
No,
Finals or
no,
1992
no.
NBA Finals.
They
They're
don't-
out.
they don't
They're out
wanna
on
know.
all that, dude. We just know MJ's the GOAT, all right?
And
Number
then
23.
I got just a barrage of Steph Curry, and I'm like, oh, man.
Here we go.
It was like a 6-minute conversation. I'm like, you guys are wasting practice now.
This is our practice time.
We had to get back in
Do you
the
have them
drill.
just run lines after that?
That's it. Baseline now.
Baseline!
Whistle. Go. Again. You went Miracle. You went Herb Brooks and Miracle. Again. For hours after practice last
Who do
night.
you play for?
Who's the GOAT? Say it. LeBron. Okay, you're done running now. Fine.
No, I didn't do that.
You didn't make him do that one? No.
I told them Michael Jordan is thought of as the best of all time. It was more the Steph Curry defense just popping up left and right, and I'm like, what?
No.
Yeah, that one's a little funky. Why would that be your GOAT? Because if you're young, at least you've had the
all
chance
you've
to watch.
known is that name. You
Well,
don't
I
watch
know.
Sports Center. You don't
I
watch
know.
television
That's
anymore.
true. But LeBron at least is in like this era. It's not like they haven't seen LeBron or had the ability to watch LeBron. The Michael stuff's different because he retired 20. I mean, he's been out of the league for a long time.
Yes.
He retired when we were kids.
03.
Right? Long time ago.
Yeah.
So you've never had the ability to even watch him, to have a frame of reference on how good he is. Steph and LeBron's careers are at the same time. They've played in NBA Finals. Like, they're both still playing.
Yeah.
So if you're a kid, you have the ability to watch both of them.
Yeah, I know, but kids, man, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? That's what I'm trying to do at Teddy Ballgame, dude. I'm trying to brainwash that kid before he turns 3. All those sports takes got to be downloaded in that brain so they don't go anywhere.
I do. I think you've absolutely put him you've baptized him
Training.
into the duck cult.
Okay, let's talk about Akili Smith now, okay? And his touchdown run against USC late in the season in 1997.
Teddy, what'd you do this weekend? Would you like to share and tell? Yeah, we watched game tape. Joey Harrington.
Keenan Howry returning a punt in the
Can't
Civil
wait
War.
for his first
Keith Jackson on the
report.
call. Oh, here comes Howry.
The Danny O'Neal years.
Teddy, what have you learned? Josh Wilcox is criminally underrated.
Totally agree, dude. He killed Penn State in that Rose Bowl. It wasn't his fault they lost that game. He was fantastic in L.A. That's absolutely going to be me as a
What are you
parent,
going to be for
man.
Halloween, Teddy? Norm Van Brocklin.
Hello, Tinata.
If you don't download all your sports takes on your kids, what are you even doing as a parent? What are you even
great
doing?
point.
You
That's a
know?
great point.
You got to brainwash him, man.
That's a good point.
Not
Very
many people
fair.
want to listen to my sports takes, but he'll sit there and take all of them, all right?
And then put his hand in his pants.
That's right. And then check it out. Hey, I got poop on my
Poop.
fingers. Poop.
It's not my sports takes that made you do that.
Damn it, Teddy.
Well, we got a Josh Pate Thursday. He'll join us at 7:40. We got a Magic Hat Thursday as well. Let's start with Pucker Factor, Sayonara Yanks.
Yeah, bye-bye.
And hey, this one's still going on.
Ooh.
We'll start there. Dirt and Sprague, good to be with you on this Thursday on 105.1 The Fan.
Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
This song just hits different the day after, doesn't it?
Feels great to hear it.
It's like a morning shower.
Bye-bye.
Start spreading the news.
Yeah, I always think of the Yankees, or I think of New Year's Eve with this song.
Oh,
Yeah, Times Square.
okay.
I think it's the first one they play, right? Don't they
I think
always
it
play
is.
this at New Year's, and then
Yeah,
they do
right after
like
the ball drops.
Yeah, New York first.
Unfortunately, the Yankees overtake that for this song for me.
That's why it's a fun way to listen to it now, because
I
you
know.
know they shove it down your throat when they win. So when they lose, to turn it around on them, because it's a delightful song. I mean, it's Frank. Come on now.
Blue Jays secured their first ALCS trip yesterday, winning in New York. How'd the Schlittler do? Was he just untouchable?
No.
No, he was not. They got to him a little bit.
We are living, I love it because we all cocky sniff in different ways. We all also have to admit when we're miserable as sports fans together. The noise I kept hearing about how amazing Schlittler was going to be and how this was going to be a win and they were going to go and push this to a game 5 and didn't quite happen like that, did it?
No, it did not.
He had 12 Ks and
Did not have 12K. I don't think he was
No.
the reason they lost, but he wasn't dominant like he was in the
he
in the
wasn't
Red Sox
bad,
game.
but
No.
he wasn't.
He didn't
lights
shut him out.
Did not shut him out.
so that's not going to happen.
No.
The Blue Jays end up winning, going back to the ALCS since 2016. And the Yankee season is over. And according to our local Yankees fans, Aaron Boone won a game, so he's going to keep his job.
He'll stick around for another year.
He'll be back next year.
Bring him back.
But Toronto, I think the real story, all the jokes aside, the story is, God, Toronto looks amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the cooler story to me. It's not about. I mean, the Yankees losing will always put a smile on everybody's face, sans Yankees fans, because if you're not a Yankee fan, you hate them, and it's like watching Duke lose early in the NCAA tournament. Like when Duke goes down in the first round or second round, it just brings Americans together in ways that not many things can, because we all enjoy watching them lose. The Yankees are in that same category, so that was a lot of fun. Dude, the Blue Jays deserve their flowers for the way that they've built their team, the way that they've locked up their guys. They've even had some of their guys that they've gone out and gotten years past who haven't done squat in the playoffs. Like George Springer has been kind of non-existent for them, but Vladdy has been the story. He's their phenom.
He's been MVP.
He's their biggest piece. Remember the whole thought going into the year was, will they get a deal done? Is he going to hit free agency? Does he want to stay in Toronto? They got enough to get the deal done, and boy, oh boy, do they look smart right now, because he was the dominant force in that series for them, and it's great to see them back in the ALCS. One of the more underrated sporting atmospheres, I think, in all of professional sports.
The Rogers Center?
Dude, when they're good and that place is jumping, and you think of like walk-off home runs of years past and Batista with the bat flip, like that's one of the coolest venues to get rocking, and it's going to be awesome in the ALCS.
So interesting movement. Not that this stuff isn't going to move again in a day or two, but yesterday I looked it up when the Mariners were up 3-0, and we'll get to the Mariners today. When the Mariners were up 3-0 in Detroit, I went and looked at DraftKings. They were the second favorite to win the World Series in all of the remaining teams in baseball. And now you look at it today, and obviously the Mariners losing is going to change those odds.
Right.
Toronto now is second.
Yeah. Dodgers number one still.
Dodgers
Yeah.
still number one with plus 195. The
Makes sense.
Brewers are third at plus 500. The Mariners now are fourth. So they
Okay.
went from second to four
Okay.
with losing that game against Detroit. And Toronto, I believe yesterday, Toronto. So I think Seattle and Toronto literally swapped places.
Yes.
So say what you want. I do think Toronto would be worthy of putting a bet on just because of how they're playing. They seem so confident.
Oh, for sure they would be. Yeah. I mean, they're down to one of the final four teams at least in Major League Baseball.
Well, it's just such a tough, I think, situation. Like, I don't always buy momentum and, it's here we go. The Yankees have figured it out. But I do think playing in Yankee Stadium, pivotal closeout game, guy on the bump that just had an outstanding rookie performance, like historical.
Yeah.
I think that spot can get a lot of teams, and they didn't allow it to get them.
No, I mean, we talk about that with the Twins all the time, right? Like, what is their losing streak against the Yankees in the playoffs? There's a lot of teams that have that, where you face them and it's just almost too much and you can't overcome it. The other part of it is, and I'm not an American League East fan, but I'd imagine that this is the case for all of those teams in that division, where New York just like looks their nose down at everybody. Like, I remember times during the regular season, and we might even have played the audio on the show, of people like associated with the Yankees, whether it was Michael Kay or, New York radio guys who were basically laughing at the idea of the Blue Jays being a first-place team. Like, they're not as good as us. Look at their numbers. Their win-loss, their, run plus-minus isn't as good as us. They're just winning one-score game. That's not a first-place team. I remember that being a takeaway late in the season as the Yankees were trying to chase them down and win the division. And that kind of stuff sticks with Toronto. And so you want to snuff your nose at them. The team that ended up winning, tied for you with the most wins in the American League. They win the division because of a tiebreaker, and now they eliminate you in the playoffs. Winning in the playoffs is great, but if you're in that division with the Yankees, beating them in the playoffs is just even as sweet as you could imagine.
The Cubbies extended the series against the Brew Crew.
They did. That was a good game.
They got out of a couple jams there. There was a bases-loaded situation when the Brewers were down 1 run. They got a strikeout. Great atmosphere in Wrigley. There was no doubt about that, but extended that series. It's another series that, honestly, I don't know how to feel about the Cubbies' chances to push that to 5.
And winning 3 in a row is hard. We gave the numbers on, 10 times out of 50 or 60 or whatever it is.
90% of the time, the team going up 2-0 wins the series. So you have that stat, and Toronto's just added to it. But the thing about the Cubbies and the Brewers series, you might not feel confident unless you're a Cubs fan of the Cubs' ability to push this to 5 and win. But also, the Cubs continue to score in the first inning.
They keep jumping on them right out of the gate.
And yesterday, they finally able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, finally built a lead, and they were able to hold on to it the rest of the way.
But it was still a pretty tight game. Brewers had their chances, couldn't quite capitalize, but the Cubbies extend that game to 4.
That ended up being a really interesting game. Most of the games yesterday, sans Dodgers, Phillies, which kind of ended up being a bloodbath. Same with the Mariner game, I guess, late. But most of the games ended up being pretty interesting, and that was one of them yesterday. I also think if you're a Brewer fan, this isn't fair to the current team because they have nothing to do with it, but their postseason history has to be in the back of your mind.
Oh, yeah.
What are the Brewers known for?
Yes.
They're known for falling short in these moments. They build a 2-0 lead. You have a chance to eliminate a team. I think the Brewers will still win the series. It's just incredibly hard to win 3 in a row, especially against the arms that Milwaukee has. And then Game 5 will be back in Milwaukee if they do win Game 4. Mm-hmm. But there's just that thought in the back of your mind if you're a Brewer fan of come on, man, one more one. Come on. Because they've been to one NLCS that I remember. They played the Dodgers in an NLCS one of the years the Dodgers went to the World Series. I want to say they lost in 5 or 6 in that series. So they've won. It's not like they lose every time they go. They're not quite Twins level bad in the playoffs, but they're kind of in that same category. And just one more win to not make you sweat it out. The other part of this too is the fact that getting that extra day of rest, being able to reset your rotation, like Toronto was able to do that with the win. Now they got to wait and see who they're going to play, but they're going to be fully ready to go for Game 1, every card in their deck, if you will. And so I think Milwaukee, you want to try and get that out of the way, win the series, get it over with, make sure everything's reset going into Game 1 of the NLCS.
Swag, you have 30 seconds. Pucker factor is at what for you? Your team got bludgeoned and embarrassed last night.
3.5, 4.
Still pretty confident then.
Didn't fully expect to sweep the Phillies. They're too good.
It's a tough team.
There's a lot of bats in that lineup, man.
And I'm going to give you a scorching hot take. I think those unis are incredibly ugly.
The powder blues?
Oh, I think those
The
are
baby blues? You don't like the baby blues?
The minute I saw him crack
an
those
NL East
out,
thing? Just hatred
that
of
was
the
like
Phillies?
superstitious. I was like, oh crap.
Crimson red with
they pulled those out
with that color blue looks gross.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think those are the best of the powder blue. All the powder blues back from the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Better than the Royals, better than the Blue Jays.
Better than the Chargers?
No, just in baseball.
Oh,
in baseball.
Yeah, that's a bad take.
Yeah, I'm with
better
Swag
than
on
the
this
Cardinals.
One. Yeah,
Bad
the Cardinals
take.
have a very similar baby blue.
Yeah, I
There's
don't
a
like that
bunch
one
of teams
either.
that went baby blues there in the 70s, early 80s.
It's kind of the theme of the decade.
And I thought the Phillies were by far the
cocaine.
best.
Makes you do weird stuff.
I think that's
telling me?
also when the Portland Beavers were the Phillies AAA affiliate, too.
Oh, I didn't know we were the Phillies.
Yeah, we
AAA
were the
affiliate.
Pirates.
Why
and
the
then
hell would we have been the Phillies AAA?
They bounce around, dude. Those AAA ballparks or clubs change hands all the
Yeah.
time.
They're flying from Portland to Philly in the 70s.
Yeah, to get called up, and I got to go across the country.
Some
much
dudes got
secondhand
called up
smoke.
on the West Coast road trip.
Yeah. Wait till we're out in Anaheim, and then we'll call your ass up to the big leagues.
Yeah, I know it's a bad take for many. I didn't like them. I just think.
Oh,
they're
I saw
gross.
those. I was like, uh-oh.
They look like shag carpet from the 70s. I see it and I go, God, we got to rip that right out.
Those were
very
the
70s.
jerseys they won the 1980 World Series in.
100%. I get it. I'm wrong here. I'm telling you at the front of this.
Yeah,
I'm
you're on your
wrong.
own. You're on your own on this take.
You
But
like those.
You're standing 2 feet, though, at least. Yeah, I love the baby blues.
It's like looking at it. To me, it's like going in a friend's basement and they have wood panel walls. I'm like, God,
It's a throwback, dude.
paint this or rip it down.
Come on.
Do something
We
different.
need some modern tile. Get out of here.
I don't know why. I don't like it. I don't like that powder blue. I don't like that crimson. I just that combination. It's not just that I hate the Phillies, because I do.
Yeah.
I actually think the Phillies' regular home unis are sick.
I was having this text debate with buddies the other night in our group chat of the best baseball hats. Everybody's going to pick their team because they love their hat, right? Phillies were one of them for me. I love the red hat with the white. Just a clean look.
The
Phillies
white
are in,
pea?
Yeah,
The old
Phillies are in the mix.
Pirates with the three yellow stripes around.
Yeah, that's a good one. I put modern Pirates into the conversation too.
Those were classic.
Oh, you like those?
The Kent Colvies.
Oh, no, thank
He's
you.
an old school guy.
The
That's
Willie
his DNA,
Stargels,
man.
those
I
were
like
awesome.
old school stuff. I'm just telling you the old school stuff that's ugly.
I think my top three were Phillies, Pirates, and White Sox were my top three hats.
Sox is, this is the thing. Like, this is my point. I can hate something and admit that it's nice. The
Yeah.
Cowboys football pants.
Cowboys have incredible uniforms.
I don't know what color they made a color up.
Those
That's
white
crazy.
unis, that white uni that we're wearing this weekend in New York with
Those
the
are-
blue
no, yeah, those aren't
star on the
bad.
shoulder pads, just perfection.
Who wasn't jealous if you weren't a Cowboy fan of
Yes.
the blue with the shoulder pad from the 90s?
Yes, everybody was.
I hated that I liked it. I'm like, God, I hate this team.
I almost rooted for the Little Giants or the Cowboys and Little Giants. Those unis were so clean.
Exactly.
Emmett's in the movie. Kind of on Spike's side here.
The Yankee has to be in the top 3.
Yeah, Yankee.
The
I mean,
NY is just like, it's so iconic.
It's iconic. There's a lot of great baseball hats. That was why it was a fun debate. We were having that
So what were your
conversation.
3? The Phillies?
My 3 were Phillies, Pirates, and White Sox.
Just the standard yellow pea?
I like the standard yellow pea. I like that pirate hat. I like the colors combo, the black and the yellow.
Black and yellow's
the
good.
yellow pops off of the black. I'm a big fan. I like the pea
More than my little A, huh?
more than your little A. I'm not a little A guy.
Oh,
Not a little A guy.
not a Bama
I'm a
A?
capital A guy.
Are you?
I'm more of a capital A guy than I am a lowercase A guy.
We'll get back into baseball. Are Mariner fans nervous? Because I heard one
Yes.
Mariner fan on this radio station just absolutely cocky
They
sniffing.
should be.
Oh, who was cocky sniffing yesterday?
Who do you think?
Schultze? Schultze cocky sniffing?
Like loudly. in
Like
prime
this
time.
is over?
Like
When was he doing this?
They own
Yesterday.
Scooble all of a sudden.
Once it went final and we knew it was Scooble, he was like, we own him.
Oh, no.
Portland Mariner fan, very different from Seattle Mariner fan. That's all I'll say about that. We'll get into that. Magic Hat Time is next, but first, Swag with a sports update.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Brought to you by Laurelhurst Market Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. Great spot for any occasion. Don't forget you save 10% on your Butcher Shop order when you dine in. Menus and more at laurelhurstmarket.com. First on the Fan. Shaden Sharp, Tumani Kamara looked regular season ready in the Blazers' first preseason game. They combined to hit 8 of 17 threes. Portland built a 19-point lead after 3 quarters against the Warriors before the reserves gave up 51 in the fourth. It ended up being a 129-123 loss. Sharp finished with 22 points and 6 boards. Next up, the Kings in town Friday night. Week 6 of the NFL slate will begin in the Meadowlands with an NFC East grudge match. Giants host the Eagles, both coming off Week 5 losses. 5:15 kick on Prime Video. Phillies 7-point favorites. Just one team able to advance to the LCS round of the MLB postseason Wednesday. That would be the Blue Jays, who ended the Yankees season. Got to Cam Schlittler for a 5-2 win. They'll await the winner of the Mariners-Tigers series. Detroit rallied from an early 3-0 deficit, blowing out Seattle 9-3. The series goes back to T-Mobile for a winner-take-all Game 5 Friday evening. In the National League, Cubs and Phillies avoided elimination, setting up Game 4s today. First in L.A., Dodgers will try to close out the series at home. They hand the ball to Tyler Glasnow, opposite Phillies Game 1 starter Christopher Sanchez. 3:08 first pitch. In Chicago, the Brewers and Cubs have yet to name starters for their 6:08 first pitch. Complete coverage on 910 ESPN Portland begins at 2:30 this afternoon. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of the Fan
It's the Magic Hat.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
Bring it on. Basically, a bunch of topics,
Yeah.
and we have no idea where the sports gods want us to go.
Okay.
Until Swag pulls it out of his magic hat.
Hocus pocus, where are you?
Now you see me. Now you don't.
It's
It's simply what it is. It's magic. We don't know what's going to come out of this hat.
Where is that rabbit?
Abracadabra, MFers. Let's do the magic hat.
The only thing this hat's good for is the trash can.
All right, welcome back in. It's Magic Hat Thursday. We'll get to Josh Pate at 7:40 today. Ask this question for the top of the hour because we usually Magic Hat for 2 segments. Why is there no juice? Why is there no juice?
I
Noodle
love
on
juice.
that.
I'm a
I
big
do too.
juice guy.
Me too.
Give me some Welch's grape juice.
I don't buy juice and I don't drink juice, but I love juice.
Whenever I get the opportunity to drink juice, which I have at all times, but I'm the same, I don't buy a lot of it, I get very excited. Like you go out to breakfast, you get a nice glass of orange juice.
Yeah,
it's
if you're
a
at a
good
hotel
feeling.
that has
Yes.
the continental breakfast included,
I'm pounding
and
some juice.
They got the cranberry and the orange and the apple.
My
and-
only problem with the orange juice, I don't order at restaurants because my glass isn't big enough and you don't get free refills and it's like $7.99.
I know.
And
For
I'm
a
like,
refill.
water, please.
Like I said, if you're staying at a hotel where the breakfast is included in
Yeah, but
in
that's
the thing.
concentrated juice from a machine. I love fresh orange juice.
You like it
that's the
fresh
best
Oh no, they've
juice.
got it out in the carafes and
Not the hotels. I
Squeeze
stay
that
at.
juice from me.
Yeah.
Get those oranges
Well,
working.
no, but like the machine concentrated
Yeah,
juice
it's
is
not the
different
same.
than
Oh, yeah,
like
that's
the
different
container
than the
juice.
fresh.
Not
Yeah.
the same
Yeah.
at all.
freshly squeezed.
All right, where are we going to start on the magic hat?
Let's see. How much does this coach hate him?
I mean, we already kind of knew this, but let's just say it out loud. Kevin Stefanski hates Shedeur Sanders, right?
He must.
Certainly feels like it, yeah.
He refuses to name him the backup. Everybody's indicating Bailey Zappi, who was on their practice squad.
Dude, Bailey
Yeah.
Zappi,
How many
moment in time.
starts did he get in New England when he was there?
He got a few of
He
them.
got a few,
Like
yeah.
a half a season or something?
It kind of felt that way.
He was the all-time leading passer in college football, was he not? Like, he was one of those kind of guys or had one of the best seasons ever?
Well, I just again, here we go. More evidence that team didn't want to draft him and they were
No.
forced
Yeah.
to by the owner because this coach hates him. And that's okay. He knows quarterbacks. He knows football.
Exactly.
He must not trust what he's seeing. It's just
I'm so curious what's going on. Like, if
It's
I could
hilarious
go
how
to
much he
any
doesn't like
NFL
him.
practice, I would want to go to that practice to see
what's happening.
what is going on at that practice.
I want to go to the film sessions because that's where this stuff clearly is showing itself the most, right?
Yeah, I'd imagine so. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I think teams were hesitant to draft him, just the fear of it's going to be a distraction. Like, that's what we talked about going into the draft. You don't want your backup
That's why
quarterback to be a
Tebow couldn't be
distraction.
a backup anywhere.
Because everybody would start chanting Tebow the second your starting quarterback had a bad game or a bad drive, even though Tim Tebow sucked, and we all knew that he sucked, but that's still what the fans would chant. And so Shedeur has a bit of that vibe. Zappi, by the way, 2 years ago in New England, it looks like he started about 7 games for them in the back half of the year. So he's got a little bit of experience. I didn't even know he was on Cleveland's roster. I saw this headline yesterday.
Well, his practice squad elevated.
Yeah, right. I'm like, Stefanski hesitant to name Sanders QB2, and I'm like, do they have any other quarterbacks? And then, yeah, there's Bailey Zappi. Come on down. Some of the stuff he said, going into camp, the miming an interview, like he's not doing a lot to help himself. Instead of just kind of shutting up, doing his job.
I'm not defending
working.
him here.
Oh, I know.
I think it's evident the coach hates him.
I think he wanted nothing to do with Shedeur Sanders, and that was a pick by the owner to say, this will sell some jerseys.
They're doing debates in Cleveland sports radio right now of who deserves to start for Cleveland, Deshaun or Shedeur.
God.
I mean, you guys are in a bad spot right now, man. You guys are in a low spot. But we'll see what Dylan does.
Who's the MVP frontrunner right now, or one of them? Their former star quarterback, who they used a number 1 overall pick on and then gave up on because they made him play through an injury.
They made him play through an injury, and then
Yeah.
when he underperformed, they said, nah, we don't want you. We want the weird guy from Houston.
Let's give up all of our stuff for Deshaun Watson.
Is Dirt Scurd?
Oh, my Scurd.
Well, I wrote scared, not scurred.
Scurd is cooler than scared,
But
though.
I do like that you made that scurred.
Scurd.
Yeah, I saw this. I got kind of sad. I read her book last year, actually, on my birthday as a weekend getaway. Dolly Parton's sister came out and basically said, please
fake
think
news.
of my sister.
Total fake news. Total fake news.
Well, I saw this morning that she says, I ain't dead yet.
Yeah, she released a video today, like doing a thing where she's sitting down being like, I'm still alive.
I know, but her sister
Dolly or
didn't-
Dolly's sister?
From Dolly herself.
So Dolly's sister came out and said, please think of my sister.
okay.
She's dealing with some health issues. She's not doing great. And everybody's antennas went, oh,
no.
Uh-oh.
And then she came out today and was like, I ain't dead yet, darling. And, like, I get you can do a video, but
Yes.
if the sister's saying that, and by the book, I'm just going off what I read.
Going off of the book.
They're a pretty good family that grew up in the backwoods and had nothing but each other.
Dude, she's an insane story, yeah.
She's a great
Yeah.
story.
One of the few down-to-earth stars who has been in the spotlight for 50 years,
and
60
largely
years.
stands for
Like,
nothing but let's support people,
Right.
let's
Yes.
help each other out, let's love
Yes.
love one another. Like, she's truly an icon.
Yes, nothing polarizing about her.
And so I saw this and I got kind of sad and I thought, she's a country artist.
Yes.
My guy Dirt is an urban cowboy.
Dude, Jolene, one of the greatest country songs of all time. You guys know the song Jolene?
Jolene.
Jolene's it. I mean, do you like that song? That's a good song? Non-country guy?
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that song. Thank you. Yeah, I love Dolly Parton. I did see this and I got a little scared the other day. And then the sister had to come out and add a statement being like, no, everything's all right. And they was like, well, then why are you asking for prayers?
Yeah, when
And
you
then-
say that way, it
And
kind
then
of
she releases the video of like, I'm still alive. I'm like, yeah, but she is 80, so she's, we're getting close. We're getting close to the finish
Well, her
line for
husband just
Dolly.
passed away.
Her husband just passed away recently. I'm hoping Dolly hangs on for a little bit longer because I love me some Dolly Parton.
All-time underrated marriage, too, because she was super big, famous person. We knew nothing of her husband because their
No.
relationship was of the most private you could possibly have.
Guy just married her when they were young, and
Yeah.
they stayed married forever, and you never knew the guy's name, never knew what he looked like. He was just always in the background, hanging out.
No, like,
Married
rumors
to
about
Dolly
her
Parton.
cheating on him.
Nope.
Like,
Infidelity, none of that
Nope.
stuff, man.
No.
Big Dolly Parton fan. I'm
So you
glad
were
she's still good.
scared.
When I initially saw it, I was scared. Because when you ask for prayers, like, yeah, dude, that's where your mind goes. Thankfully, she's okay. For now, Dolly's still standing.
More Magic Hat next on 105.1 The Fan.
The only thing this hat's good for is the trash can.
All right, let's get back into the Magic Hat. I just saw our Twitter account at Dirt and Sprague. You can go vote there, by the way, because I put up a poll question. Are you a fan of your sport or sports teams because of your dad, yes or no? One person saying, me choosing my dad's team, the Padres, when I was 5, and everybody else choosing a good team going the other way of him. That's pretty funny.
Seems like a great idea when you're a kid. Now you're stuck with it.
Our Queen of Dongs, Lucy, saying, yes, I am a fan of the teams because of my dad. So you can vote at Dirt and Sprague there. Also had a fan, not a fan, a sports fan, but a sports fan, but somebody, a fan of the Blazers, tweet us last night. I'm watching this game in Mississippi. No excuses tomorrow morning.
That's right.
Go Blazers. We will get to the Blazers today.
We will. I watched the whole first half last night.
I watched the very end of the first half and then the entire third quarter.
It was on the second screen the entire game, and then when the Dodger
it
game
gets
was
to
over.
a point for that game, too, with the guys in the
It's
lineup.
preseason,
You're like,
yeah.
all right.
100%.
Yeah.
We'll get to
That's
it.
enough.
We will get to it. And
Okay.
then also top of the hour, why no juice? Feels like there's no juice available. So we'll get to that top of the hour.
Let's get back into the Magic Hat. Will he finally take over?
Yeah, dude. So last night was funny. I'm watching Sports Center. I was watching the end of the baseball stuff, even though I knew the Phillies had beaten the Dodgers. I watched all the way to the end. I have read 3 articles now, and I'm watching Sports Center kind of chuckling, going, ha, Dirt. It's in your life again. Because I saw Ace Bailey highlights.
That's
the
right.
NBA is back, baby.
Kevin Durant talking trash to him. I saw those highlights.
He looked good as a rookie. But I'm watching some NBA highlights, and I read 3 different pieces. The most recent one I read is from The Athletic about everything Victor Wembanyama went through this offseason. He has reached psycho mode. He is tired of not winning. He couldn't stay healthy. He was abruptly cut from playing last year
Right.
because of his blood flow issue.
Yeah, the blood clots are always scary.
By all accounts, he's got these quotes coming out. He's like, yeah, I've passed up shots to get other people involved. I'm done. I just want to ask, would you guys bet that this is takeover season for Wemby finally, where he plays almost a full season? He's going to win DPOY if he does stay healthy all year.
Yeah, what's the minimum number of games you got to play to win that? Like 68?
65 or
65.
something?
60-something, but
Something like
If he hits that, he'll win DPOY.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also curious. He's got the reigning rookie of the year in Castle. He just drafted a rookie that people really are high on in Harper. He's
Looks
got
like
De'Aaron
he was
Fox.
able to put on a little weight without losing any of his agility or mobility.
Dude, he went to China for a tour, for
Yeah.
promotional tour. He basically became a karate guy. He just took karate classes everywhere. He plays soccer, as filmed on social media. He's really taken a serious step in his mind this offseason. Would you guys bet that Wemby
I think
steps to
so.
the fold?
Yeah.
You're betting yes?
He'll take over that team this year.
No. He already owns the team.
Oh, you
yeah,
mean the
he's the
NBA?
guy. Yeah.
Are they going to jump
Are they in the mix?
in the West this year and be in a conversation for people?
I don't know if they have all the right things around him. They still need to. He didn't play enough with all those guys last year to get it
Yeah, him and
all-
Fox didn't play a lot together.
all symbiotic.
Because he only
So-
played 46 games last year, and Fox came somewhere around that
So
area.
I think they just need some time to figure each other out so that it's comfortable and smooth. And when they do that, then they'll be scary. So they might go on a second half run. I think it still might be a little glitchy early on.
The only question I have is health. If the answer is yes, he's healthy, then the answer to your question is yes, he will take over.
Because
If the answer is no, because that was the only fear about him coming out, is you're not supposed to be that big, doesn't really work that way. Now, he played 71 games as a rookie, and year 2 was a blood clot thing, not like a knee
I know,
or an
it
ankle
wasn't
issue.
a weird
It was kind of a
Achilles
random
or
thing, but that's
anything.
my only is he available for 70 games? And if he is, he will be one of the 5 best players in the league.
Well, yeah, I don't disagree with that. The other part I would add, too, is I guess I should have framed that better. I don't think they're a contender, but can they be the 6th seed?
Yes.
yes.
Jump
Yes.
and become a 6th seed?
Without
I'd
a
have to
doubt
go,
in
"Oh
my mind, they
God, I
can."
wouldn't want to play them.
Without
Yep.
a doubt in my mind, he's that good.
I think
'Cause
remember,
remember-
I think they might come out of the block slow because they're trying to sort it all out and
Mm-hmm.
get comfortable. And then once they figure out what they're doing on the floor,
The Harper
Look
Fox Castle thing is interesting to me, of just how that's going to work and how they figure their minutes out. Remember, I know he took over last year because of the stroke, but remember, their coach now, he's the permanent
Yeah.
coach. He's the guy in charge. I want to remind people before he got hurt or before the blood clot, he was like a minus 20,000 to win DPOY.
Yeah, I mean, he was like 11 rebounds a game, 4 blocks a game.
It wasn't a
just
conversation.
insanely good defensively, which we all knew that he would be. And his offensive game has been really good and can only get better.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna have time for any more, so this might be our last
Yeah,
one
this is
because
our
I
last
want to
one.
get to the top of the hour. Did you see a report that came out yesterday? So a 60-year-old woman had a massive heart attack while on the ride, the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland.
What?
And I'm just asking you guys, as sad as that is for the family and people involved.
I'm assuming she passed away?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
pronounced on the scene.
Yeah.
So like
That's horrible.
probably a real. What do you tell your kids if they are to see something like this unfold? That ride, it's very dark in there. I don't know if you guys have been on the Haunted Mansion ride.
That would be the
No.
only hope is that they don't really know what's going on, that there's a scream because everybody's screaming on the ride or there's a noise that's made, but people make noises on roller coasters and you just like,
You know the Tilt-A-Whirl ride?
yeah.
You know how that's like kind of a cupped bench?
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're sitting in on the Haunted Mansion. So you don't always see the person in front of you or behind you.
Right. That I would just try and put blinders up and get out of there as quickly as I can just to not have to deal with it with my kids because I don't know what you say to your kids.
I don't either.
Are they going to be traumatized for roller coasters the rest of their life?
Well, that's
If
the
you
thing.
know
It's
that
not a roller
somebody-
coaster.
I know, but any sort of ride or theme park, like that is going to be an associated thought, one of one, that's going to go together in their mind the rest of their lives.
I know you're anti-Disney, but when
Yeah.
we went, we were trying to be strategic. And so we'd be like, what's the first ride we want to hit? Is it the Star Wars ride because the line's going to get dumb? Or do we start slow at Peter Pan?
Mm.
And I wondered how many people chose, let's start with a Haunted
Yeah,
Mansion.
let's go. It's spooky season.
9 a.m.
Haunted Mansion ride.
I don't know what time the lady passed away, but like
First
imagine that's
ride
your
of the
first
day.
ride of the day.
You're spending $20,000 for a week at Disney because you got to sell a kidney just to spend a couple of nights down there.
Terrible.
And that's your first memory. That's an awful story. Terrible timing.
All right. Well, we didn't get into all the Magic Hat stuff, but that is the Magic Hat for Thursday, October 9th.
Well done.
Thank you. Loaded second hour of the program. I want to kick it off. We'll have Josh Pate at 740. Why is there no juice? What's up with no juice? Hour number 2, Dirt and Sprague, 105.1 The Fan and the Fan Sports Network.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, first preseason action for the Portland Trail Blazers. Some hot three-point shooting early from Shaedon Sharpe to Manny Kamara, who both hit 4 threes. The Blazers had a lead as much as 21 late in the third quarter before they handed it off to the reserves. They ended up losing 129-123, but Sharpe finished with 22 points and 6 rebounds. Next up, the Kings are in town Friday night at Moda Center. NFL Week 6 schedule starts with an NFC East grudge match. Giants hosting the Eagles, both lost in Week 5. It's a 5:15 kick on Prime Video. Philly, 7-point favorites. Only the Blue Jays were able to close out their divisional series on Wednesday night. They ended the Yankees season 5-2. They will await the winner of the Mariners-Tigers series. Detroit rallied from a 3-0 deficit early on to blow out the M's 9-3. So the series will go back to Seattle for a winner-take-all game Friday evening. In the National League, both the Cubs and Phillies extending the series with victories. L.A. tonight will try to close out the series. They'll hand the ball to Tyler Glasnow. Phillies Game 1 starter Christopher Sanchez back to the hill. 3:08 first pitch. In Chicago, the Brewers and Cubs yet to name starters. 6:08 first pitch. Complete coverage on 910 ESPN. Portland will begin at 2:30. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard for the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for the
Hey, welcome back in. This is the second hour of our radio program we call Dirt and Sprague here on 105.1 The Fan. The Fan Sports Network, the Odyssey app, youtube.com/1051 The Fan. Good morning, YouTube. We love you. Thanks for hanging with us on a Thursday morning, a delightful little Thursday morning.
Hello.
Warren Torn, Portland, day 9.
See, they had to release a statement. Are you? Can you hear the choppers in your house at your spot?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard some choppers, and I saw one that looked military-ish, but I also get fighter jets that fly in that area.
And there's a lot of fighder jets out there.
And that's been like that for years. But,
yeah. A lot of choppers down in southeast Portland right now.
I know
You can just hear them
constantly.
Yeah. And I'm like, they had to release it. The police had to release a statement yesterday. They were like, these are not our choppers. We have nothing to do with these choppers.
Drove over to Ross Island yesterday, and I saw the stretch of road that leads to the building, and I just saw the little tape and some lights, and I went, literally half of a block, and it's the most big national news story of all time.
Went for a delightful walk last night, looking at neighborhood Halloween decorations, kiddos loving it.
You walked through the fire?
We walked through war-torn Portland. I'm surprised we're here to tell the story today.
We must strive
We
on.
must push on.
We have a lot to get to in the second hour of the program today. Josh Pate's going to stop by at 7:40.
Yes, he is.
His weekly visit.
His weekly visit, Pate State University. Want to remind you today as well, it didn't happen last week. Happening this week, today, 4 o'clock, Dan Lanning on with Primetime.
Yes.
So we'll talk with, they will talk with Dan Lanning on our radio station, 105.1 The Fan. So interested to see what the Danimal has to say.
He did not do his coach's show again last night.
Yeah, I don't think you have to update me on that anymore. I think it's pretty clear he's quit. He's
like,
quit doing that. He doesn't
tapped
care
out
about
on
it.
that
I mean,
one.
come on.
Samples, the running back coach, did it. I turned it on last night, and I'm like, where? Oh, okay, we're not doing it again. Okay, there you go.
Well, we have the Monday press conferences. We played some audio on Tuesday's program, and now here we are Thursday.
And he did press after Wednesday's practice.
He had a press conference yesterday, after practice.
Yeah, also DeCorian Moore spoke.
He did.
Yeah.
That is very rare for Dan Lanning to let true freshmen talk to the media.
I want to say our friend Zach Neal, who covers the Oregon program, I believe he noted in his time he has not seen a freshman in the Lanning era talk.
Sounds about right. Not many of them have had this big of a role as a true freshman. And I think that Lanning was asked about that yesterday of like, hey, we love that we get to talk to him. Why did you make that call? And he basically said, look, he's become a big impact player for us. We trust his maturity. And so we thought it was
I'm guessing
fair by him to let him talk to the media.
The media requests for him were getting out of control. And somebody went into his office and was like, can he go in front of a microphone? So
he was really well spoken. I haven't heard much. I haven't heard him talk very much because he hadn't done any interviews.
Freshman, you never know.
Freshman,
right?
you never know. And he was really impressive, man. It was fun to listen to him yesterday.
So they talked yesterday. He talked Monday. We played some of the clips, and we teed him up and told you, like, neither one of these coaches are ever going to give you something for the other side. They know how to play it. They're professionals. Signetti's in his 60s. He's won everywhere he's gone. And I want to get to Indiana, but I want to ask you this.
Yeah.
Not us locally, although I think you can make an argument that we should be included in this. This is a massive game that feels like it's lacking juice. And I'm not saying you don't care. I'm not saying the Duck fans don't care. But just take our shows and then even add the national narrative stuff.
Right.
Penn State week, it was every single day hitting on the game. Build up, build up, build up, build up. Now, the whiteout certainly helps, right? Going to the road environment, the game of games on TV. This one is also, by the way, a top 10 matchup.
I believe it's the only top 10 matchup in the sport this weekend, if I'm not
yeah,
wrong.
there's two other ranked
matchups, but not top 10.
Not top 10.
Yeah.
And Indiana's coming off of a bye week, beat Iowa, and the week before that pummeled Illinois by 50 points.
A ranked team, they beat them by 50.
And everybody going into that game was like, Illinois is going to do to Indiana what Indiana ended up doing to Illinois. And I can't quite put my finger on it. We'll have to ask the commissioner of this, too, because as you noted off the air, his Tuesday show is kind of an underrated preview program for him. And he didn't even bring up Oregon, Indiana.
No, he saved it for tonight's show.
This just kind of feels, fair or not fair, like it's lacking juice despite how kind of big the circumstances are and where both teams are at.
So I think there's truth on both sides of this. For one, there has to be a little bit of juice considering game day is in town. So I have to give it like that level of credit.
Yes, I will lend you that.
Game day is here, and I'm like, all right, there's a little bit of juice there.
But the build-up.
The talk from a national standpoint about this game, I agree with you 100%. And the only thing that comes to my mind on why that is, and I don't know if this is a fair thing to bring up, I don't know if it has any impact on the game on Saturday. We saw Indiana twice last year play a team that had a championship-level roster. Twice. And it did not go well for them in either game. Now, again, I don't know how the games are going to go on Saturday. I think Indiana's better than they were a year ago. I think their quarterback is better than it was a year ago. And I think their defense is incredibly underrated the more I've dug into them and looked into them going into this weekend's game.
Yeah.
But I think that is, if I'm trying to pinpoint why that is, one, it's you don't have a lot of brand household recognition name with Indiana football. Penn State football is one of the most recognizable brands that exists, in a whiteout game in front of 100,000 people. Like, that's going to bring juice just on its own. And then you add the fact that Oregon and winning the Big Ten, the rematch and all that stuff. That's just going to be great from the get-go. This one, Indiana doesn't have the household name, and we saw them in this spot twice last year, and they didn't look like they belonged on the same field. And it's not to take away from Indiana of the great season that they had. They were deserving of being in the playoff, but they were undefeated. I think 10-0 went on the road to Ohio State. The game was essentially over at halftime. And then they put lipstick on a pig at the end of the Notre Dame game, scoring 2 touchdowns in the last 4 minutes. That was 28-3 with 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter in their first playoff game. And so I'm just trying, because you brought this up yesterday, and I thought, you know what, you're right. There's not a lot of national juice on this game.
There's no history between these two teams. Yeah. Like, even with Oregon, they met in the Big Ten title game last year.
With Penn State.
You had the Rose Bowl game in 95.
2004, sir.
How do you forget? Come on.
5 turnover game. Hello.
I was there.
Yeah. People have joked that was the last time a Big Ten team beat Oregon at Autzen, and then everybody reminded them quickly that Washington is in the Big Ten, and they beat you at Autzen.
Well, as a Pac-12
team. The only 2 games before that were 63 and 64.
Yeah, look, I think there's kind of a sprinkling of truth to all of this, right? The history doesn't exist.
Like, how do you guys feel about Indiana? Do you feel Indiana's a legitimate national title contender?
So Indiana now is 1-3 against top 10 teams.
Yeah, they've never, by the way, beaten a top 5 team in the history of their school. I think they have the longest. I heard the stat this week. I think it's 0-46 against top 5 teams.
Well, I have some Indiana stats and some stuff I want to get to coming up next. But like, in terms of what we're talking about specifically, the juice, no juice, I think the tough part is just because this has been such a quick flash to being good team that makes playoff and is back in that conversation in year 2.
Nothing to something this rapid.
And because Penn State, we went into the Penn State game and we talked about all of the different little angles and matchups, and is this finally Franklin's year to win that one game? And we do it. I want to see you do it, bud.
Yeah.
And for 3 quarters, it was Oregon bludgeoning Penn State. You're not going to do anything. We're going to go up 17-3. Cut. Okay, they win in double overtime. I think because of what you point to there, what Penn State's history is the only reason this from a national narrative, because you're right, game day's going there, so touche on that. But I think the buildup, man, I saw a million Oregon-Penn State things the week of Oregon-Penn State, including on our show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every single day of that week, we had stuff.
Yeah, and this game might be a tougher game.
Exactly. Maybe Indiana will come in here and push Oregon, and it comes down to the wire, and it's like, oh, my God, they survived Indiana, or, hey, Indiana with the upset. Either way, I think it's because we don't trust what we've seen yet. It has not been long enough of established success. And I think if you were to measure it, you just say 5-star, 4-star, portal, 3-star, right? That's kind of how you view Indiana largely.
Sure.
And they're successful. They're winning their games. They handled their Illinois business. But I think it's similar to the Illinois game last year. Illinois came in as a good team with a good record ranked.
Yeah, they were top 15, I want to say, at that time, top 20.
That game didn't really have a lot of juice, and it ended up being kind of an ugly game. I don't know if that's going to be the same because, again, to be fair to Indiana, they handled Illinois. But,
yes,
yeah, I think it's kind of a sprinkling of all of that, which is why it lacks some of the gravitas that a whiteout Oregon-Penn State game had.
Well, and look, we also have to be honest, and this is not just the case in college football. It's the case in all of sports. Brands matter, and Indiana football is not a brand. It just isn't. Maybe if Cignetti's there for 5 years and they continue on this trajectory and they keep doing this, they'll turn into a brand eventually. Like, I'm excited to see the Blue Jays in the ALCS. We'd all be lying to ourselves to say New York being in the ALCS is more juice for the sports crowd than it is for the Blue Jays, and that's no offense to the Blue Jays.
Well, this happens in every sport.
This is every
right?
sport,
every
right?
league.
So, like, if you insert any other Big Ten team here that has the same resume and same record as Indiana. If this is Ohio State, if this is Penn State as we're highlighting, if this is Michigan undefeated, if Wisconsin even, like if it's Nebraska, like all of those programs carry more weight than Indiana does, just from a name recognition standpoint. Indiana football is one of the worst in all of college football. Their history is as bad as literally anybody. So that's part of this for me too. And I think to add on top of that, what they desperately need to change that and to have juice, they need a win.
They need this one,
And I don't even know if they need to win this game. I think they can get moral victory points out of this game. If this comes down to the wire, Oregon kicks a last-second field goal and it's 38-35, and they show they can go on the road and hang with a team with the talent composite of Oregon's level.
Right.
I think it wakes everybody up to say, "Wow, okay, Indiana can hang in that environment. Maybe they can do something this year. If they go in and lose this game and it's 45-21 and never really close, and Oregon jumps on them, and Mendoza looks overwhelmed, and the line of scrimmage play is a big gap, they're not going to have any juice in their remaining games, and they will be the same Indiana for a lot of people from a year ago.
I think that's very fair. I do think Wisconsin is established as they were for such a long time. I think, look, right now it doesn't help that they've hit the skids and they got the wrong coach and culture fit and all that.
It's ugly right now.
But I think even if this was Wisconsin at this ranking, Wisconsin kind of had a little bit of this Indiana stuff, right? They were consistently very good.
But not great.
But never truly great for most people. Think about the last year for Anderson. Anderson's at Wisconsin. He gets to a Big Ten title game. What was the final of that game?
59-0, I believe.
So, like,
that
Wisconsin
was the Cardale Jones Big Ten title game.
Is a more established version of this in many ways. Like, even the years they get to the Rose Bowl, it wasn't like it was Wisconsin, some juggernaut undefeated team. It was, hey, Wisconsin's here because Ohio State can't be here because they're too good. They need to go to the other game. And so, like, I think even Wisconsin, and their nature of like, we run the football with big guys. It's like,
It's just boring.
how
to begin with.
exciting is
Yeah.
that, buddy? Like, I think even Wisconsin, to your point, there's a
That's
little
fair.
more.
Wisconsin could definitely be in that category too. Yeah.
But I want to know from Duck fans out there, because I know you guys out there rooting for your team.
Oh, we're sickos. We're diving into it. I watched a 45-minute film breakdown of this game yesterday.
Great. I want to hear from you guys where you're at on the juice or national noise of the game, because even though game day's coming to town, it doesn't feel like it's quite grabbed the rest of the narrative storylines. As you pointed out, it's the only top 10 ranked matchup on the docket this weekend.
And game day only went because Texas lost. If Texas had beaten Florida, they would have been at the Red River game.
Very fair. So you can chime in with your thoughts on where you're at. Juice, no juice, little juice, big cup of juice, extra large juice. 503-864-6326. I got some stuff on Indiana I want to get to, and so we'll get to that coming up next. Pate State is going to join us at 7:40. Dirt and Sprague. Hour number 2 is rolling along on Oregon, Indiana next on 105.1 The Fan.
a.m.
All right, welcome back in. We're going to have a little bit of a shorty. We call it our Andy Johnson segment before Josh Pate.
That's fair. I'm pretty tiny.
You're not.
I mean, I am. That's all right.
You're a tall fat.
Only if I was 6'2", man, would have been D1.
Not pro. I like that you stopped yourself from going pro.
I don't know how. I don't know how it would have gone. I don't know if I would have been able to handle the pressure. I don't know. All the things that would have been presented to me. Who knows? I could have caved. Could have crumbled.
Would have been Coke Johnson if you would have gone D1. I would have been terrified for you.
See the movie of The Program? Right there. Let's go, baby.
Just talking a little bit about this Oregon-Indiana game on a Thursday. We'll talk more about it with Josh Pate, who, as we noted, didn't get to it Tuesday at all for his previews. Says he's going to get to it today, and I believe him on that.
We'll get the first look at his preview of the game.
Yes, we will, an early peekaboo. Game day's going to be here, but I just think there is truth to it. It doesn't mean you're not interested or the Duck fans locally here aren't fired up for these opportunities. It's just, I don't know. The nation is not, it's not capturing the country, this Indiana situation. I think it's far more Indiana than it is Oregon because we know Oregon has established their reputation. I went and looked at Indiana football.
Dude, it's
dark.
It's dark.
They are
How many 10-win seasons do they have in the history of their program?
So they're almost 200 games below 500 as an existing program. Like in their entire history, which started in
long time ago, man.
1899.
Swag was 14, dude.
14-year-old Swigart in 1899.
All of it play out.
Has been through 127 seasons of Indiana football.
My Benjamin Buttons.
And they are almost 200 games below 500. Here's a fun fact for you, because you just asked an important question. Last year, they were 11-2.
11-2. 11-1 in the regular season, lost in the playoffs to Notre Dame.
11-2, right? You ask, that's pretty good for them. And you're 100% right. Prior to 1967, Indiana football had not won more than 8 games.
Yeah.
And if you're asking, what were they like pre-1967, Sprague? I'll say, good question, Bob. They had never won more than 9. That literally was their greatest season in program history.
That tells you all you need to know. That's why there's not a lot of juice on this game. If they win this game, I think people open their eyes up to Indiana.
Antoine Randall L. days.
No, they only won 8 or less prior.
Lee Corso is a legend for them. He wasn't even that good when he was there. It was winning like 6 or 7 games a year.
Yeah, Indiana football is an absolute disaster. Now, here's another thing on Cignetti, because he is the one thing that kind of keeps me to say, how is this game going to unfold? Mm-hmm. He himself in his press conference told you they got a massive advantage up front. And that's not a secret. Everybody in the country knows this about Oregon at this point. I'm more just curious to see the schematics of this.
Sure.
How's it going to look? How can he find an edge? He kept referencing that in his press conference. Got to find the edge. Got to find the edge. Kurt Cignetti, as a college football coach, both in D1 and D2, he is 135-37.
It's a hell of a record, man.
This dude,
he wins. Google him.
Absolutely. Yeah, Google him and read about him. He's an unbelievable story. He is somebody that for most of his entire career, nobody's given him any recognition to.
No.
But he's a winner.
He's very similar to DeBoer in that way, where it was a lot of years at lower levels where you're just racking up wins and wins and wins and wins and wins, and it takes you a while. I know he's a little bit older than DeBoer, but you look at their all-time career records and they're hilariously insane.
I mean, he was the PSAC Coach of the Year in 2012, don't you know?
I mean, how do you not?
I mean, the Pennsylvania... What is it? The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference Coach of the Year. How do you not know that?
I was at the awards banquet, man.
And I learned that because I Googled him. Okay?
Yeah.
So Kurt Cignetti is an interesting part, but Indiana football, I mean, there is just nothing of... You know Michael Penix went there.
Yeah.
You know that Antoine Randall L. went there.
Yep.
Nate Sudfeld had some success in the passing department. Other than that, Lee Corso, and that's about it, buddy.
That's about it. The tough part, too, is they can't even... I mean, they can claim Penix, but Penix was... I mean, we all remember him as a Husky.
And in that regard...
More than we will a Hoosier. Like, he might be their best player ever, and he did his best stuff in a different uniform.
And in that regard, there's nothing to be gained by the Ducks chirping.
No, I mean, there's nothing. No, Oregon's not going to do that.
Oregon
Ohio
will
State
never chirp. Oregon will never chirp to any ranked opponent in the Dan Lanning era.
No, they won't do it to anybody.
Well, that's they'll chirp, but it depends. Like, what was the kid that chirped at the little brother Oregon State stuff?
Oh, was it Jerry Mixon that said that?
Jerry
or one
Mixon.
Of the,
yeah, he's basically gonna whoop their ass,
If
little brother.
there's any chirping, it's gonna
feel
be
pretty safe chirping that.
It's
one.
gonna be the Huskies.
Yeah.
It's gonna be USC. It's gonna be Ohio State. Something like that, where there is nothing to be gained by any chirping in this regard.
Well, I mean, to your point on the size, that to me is one of the biggest stories of this entire game. I mentioned the Indiana games last year that we saw when they played Ohio State and Notre Dame. The biggest difference was where? It was at the line of scrimmage, right?
Yeah.
And they had good skill players, and Rourke was a good quarterback. I think they've upgraded in a lot of areas this year, and I don't even feel like their composite talent ranking is fair. Like, they have gone about finding guys. Use their starting running back as an example.
Mm-hmm.
He's a sixth-year guy. Like, they go and find, like, he was at Maryland. He was really good, but he's played a ton of college football. Very experienced group. They haven't played a ton together because some of these guys are new and portaling in, but it's guys who have seen a lot. Even Mendoza was, a 2 or 3 year starter at Cal? Like, he's played a lot of snaps. He started against Oregon before. He started against Dante Moore at UCLA. That's how long he's been around. So he's played a lot of football. That's kind of you see that up and down their roster. So I think to look at the composite ranking, it's not totally fair because some of these guys were not big deals coming out of high school, but when you play 5 or 6 years of college football, you're experienced and you could bring something to the table. The biggest question, I think, in this game, and it will be the case for a lot of these teams, I thought we talked about this when Washington played Ohio State, when Nebraska played Michigan, that you can make noise in the non-conference and you can look good, but when you go against a team that's just simply bigger and stronger than you at the point of attack, can you actually win? The average weight of the defensive line at Indiana is 279 pounds. That's the average weight of their defensive line. The average weight of Oregon's offensive line is 325 pounds. That is an average weight difference of 46 pounds. Now, that's not the end-all, be-all. Indiana's defensive line is incredibly disruptive. They love using slants and stunts. They create a ton of tackles for loss. They can get into the backfield. But can they hold up for 4 quarters with a 46-pound weight differential is the biggest question to me in this game. If they can, Mendoza might be the number 1 pick in the draft. He might be the best quarterback in the game this weekend, and they can absolutely hang around. That is the ultimate question that we have to answer about Indiana, is when you go toe-to-toe against a beefy offensive line and a beefy defensive line, can you push them around and can you handle your own?
There's a really good piece on Mendoza and Moore and how they've been the 2 best quarterbacks in the sport this year, and it largely is like anonymous scouts and coaches that have watched both of them play and said they're perfect for their system and they do exactly what they need to do, which is why their profile has been so elevated. I kind of look at this and Oregon winning by 20 is not going to have me on the couch going, whoa. But if this game is close, I actually think it's not just going to be schematically what does Cignetti and company find for their offense against that defense. It's also going to be a little bit of like, oh, Dante had a tip pass picked or Dante read something incorrectly. Like, it's going to be something, a fumble. Like,
you could get pouring down rain that could create weird chaos in this game
because
as well.
What did we see in the Oregon-Penn State game? Like, the thinnest of margins in a comeback is Noah Whittington's knee. Is it down or not down?
Yeah.
Because sometimes those change things, right? So
DeCorian Moore had a ball go through his hands that probably should have been picked.
And then it went through that guy's hands, and then he caught it. Yeah, so
8-yard game.
Sometimes it's weird stuff. I want to ask you, I cannot find, my hardest part in Indiana is also, I cannot find a comp, right? Like, you can give me programs that elevate, like Clemson being a national title contender.
But Clemson was already good.
They were Clemsoning, right? They were really good, but
9
they
or
could
10
never break
wins.
through, and then they broke through. It's really hard to find this. The only one that I can think of is actually a team doing it right now, Vandy. But Vandy had a couple seasons with Franklin where you're like, oh, it's a pretty respectable program.
Yeah.
Vandy now might be on the doorstep of being Indiana in the SEC of they win 10 games, they go to the playoff, and they can't hang, but they're really feisty. I can't find a comp in my life of a team that was this profile that is now this profile.
I can't think of. I mean, we've seen like a TCU come out of nowhere and go to a title game, but TCU's been a good program for a long time. That was out of nowhere for them to get to the championship game.
Yeah.
That was rare, but that wasn't like they were a doormat of college football. And that's what Indiana has been for 100+ years.
Yeah.
They have been nothing. So to your point, I don't know if there's a comp out there that we've seen a team go from 0 to 100 so quickly.
Yeah.
Even Vandy, like you can say Vandy's building that. Vandy was 7-5 last year. So they're making noise in the SEC. The schedule is more challenging, so that's part of it. But they're building into something. Indiana went from nothing to going 11-1 last year.
Yeah.
And that's Very, very rare to do in the sport.
And I found kind of the narrative talking points of them funny because they handled their patsies of the Big Ten schedule portion.
Mm-hmm.
I found it funny that we used that as a knock against him when 0 people knew who Kurt Cinetti was.
I'd never heard of him before.
Or even thought Indiana was going to be a bowl team, let alone what they were.
Yeah.
But then when they became it was like, well, they're not playing anybody. It's like, did you know anything about Indiana?
Right.
Like, how about we give Indiana some credit for not being the patsy winning against patsies? They were a juggernaut against the patsies. I think him and Lanning, I think you make a strong argument they've been the best portal coaches in the last 2 years.
I mean, it's hard to disagree for sure. And Indiana has had to lean on it more because they don't have the recruiting profile that Oregon does. So it's been far more important to them. And the other part of them this year is like, they're going to have their cracks at it, man. Like they had to play only one of the elite teams in the Big Ten last year, and Ohio State didn't go well for them. They're on the road at Oregon this weekend. They got a chance to make noise. I know everybody's out on Penn State, but that's still a very talented roster, and we'll see how the rest of their years goes. They go to Penn State in a couple of weeks, like in a month. They're on the road at Penn State.
Where's Penn State going to be?
Where are they going to be
right?
at? Like they got chances here to make some noise and win one of these games. And I think the longer they stick around and the more they can prove themselves in games like this, the more juice they're going to have.
We got Pate State coming up, a shorty segment coming up next, but first Swag with the sports update.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Brought to you by Grand Central Bowl Arcade and Sports Bar, your Ducks game day headquarters in Portland. First on the Fan. Shade and Shop, Tumani Kamara looking regular season ready in the Blazers' first preseason game. They combined to hit 8 of 17 threes. Portland built a 21-point lead in the third quarter, handed it over to the reserves who gacked it. 129-123 the loss, but Sharp finished with 22.6 boards. Blazers home Friday to host the Kings. Week 6 of the NFL slate starts in the Meadowlands. An NFC East grudge match. Giants hosting the Eagles, both coming off Week 5 losses for the 5:15 kick on Prime Video. Philly, 7-point favorites. Only the Blue Jays able to close out their LCS series, or their divisional series, on Wednesday. They will await an opponent in the ALCS as the Mariners could not hold an early lead against the Tigers. They lose 9-3. Back to Seattle for a Friday Game 5 winner-take-all. In the National League, Cubs and Phillies avoided elimination, setting up Game 4s today. L.A. first up, 3:08. Dodgers hand the ball to Tyler Glasnow, opposite Phillies Game 1 starter Christopher Sanchez. And then the nightcap, 6:08, is the Brewers and Cubs still wondering who will get the start. Complete coverage on 910 ESPN Portland at 2:30. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Recruiting with
Somebody comping Dennis Erickson to Kurt Signetti.
Yeah, it's not bad. We got asked about Jim Harbaugh, too. Harbaugh, I think he was more of a slow build. That program was in disarray. He went 4-8, 5-7, 8-5. Then had the 12-1 season
He
and
didn't
left
have
for
a
the
portal,
49ers.
though. That's
where it's
difference of the
totally
eras.
different,
Yeah.
dude. Totally different. Erickson's not bad. That's a pretty good one. Riley was there for 2 years, obviously, then left. He was 5-6. Riley was in 98.
He kind of did the portal thing with the JUCO kids.
That's exactly what he did, right? Erickson went 7-5, though, in his first year.
Yeah.
And then in year 2, went 11-1, and they won the Fiesta Bowl.
Right.
So that's not bad. That's probably the closest you'll find, but it's just, to your point, though, it's not. This way of building a team in a microwave in the offseason did not exist 20 years ago.
We also just thought, there's going to be a step back because you built it all from James Madison, and then he brings in new guys, and it
might have the number
right
one pick in the draft at quarterback, dude.
Exactly.
If he wins this weekend, he's going to be the easy favorite to be that.
We'll get to the Blazers. Certain guy performed pretty well yesterday in that preseason game.
Blake Wesley, Jeremy Grant, who are we talking about?
Starter Jeremy Grant.
Oh, yes.
But no, not Jeremy Grant.
Can't bring him off the bench.
Bench guy.
Yeah.
Bench guy performed pretty well. We'll talk about that coming up. We'll get to some NFL dealings as well. Thursday Night Football, one team on the hot seat, and it ain't the team that's the underdog. Eternal strife.
Ooh.
But let's talk a little bit more about this. The Juice No Juice, but top 10 matchup nonetheless with game day in town at Autzen Stadium, Indiana, Oregon. Pate State University joins us for his Thursday check-in. We'll talk Oregon, Indiana, and the slate of college football with Josh Pate coming up next on 105.1 The Fan.
It's time for Who's Stinking It Up?
Do not go in there.
A sports lowlight, ripped from the headlines.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
Brought to you by Three Mountains Home Services. Schedule your appointment online at threemountainshomservices.com.
I don't think that's a risk. These guys have done the job and thrown the ball extremely well, and today they just they were able to get to us.
Yeah, Bryce Miller was great yesterday. Gave up a couple runs, and then the bullpen of the Mariners just crumbled. The Tigers' bats came out of nowhere. Dan Wilson on if the bullpen has revealed itself as the Mariners go into Game 5 against Scooble.
Yeah, that's a little concerning. I'd imagine the pucker factor is pretty strong there in Seattle. At least it should be. You got Screwball you got to beat again, who they haven't lost to yet. At some point, is he going to get you? Let's not throw BP fastballs from the bullpen, and maybe you win Game 5.
Who's stinking it up? The bullpen of the M's yesterday brought to you by Three Mountains Home Services. Three Mountains is offering their biggest sale of the year for a limited time. Buy and install a new AC unit, and Three Mountains will give you a brand new furnace absolutely free. A great deal, and more details can be found at threemountainshomservices.com. That's threemountainshomservices.com.
through the cracks.
Now, before we do this, let's go over the ground rules.
Pelican Brewing presents the Daily Ticker, where Dirt and Sprague hit the big stories you've heard about and some you haven't.
How'd you do that? I'm not even mad. It's amazing.
Pelican invites you to take a beach break at one of their coastal locations: Pacific City, Tillamook, Cannon Beach, Lincoln City, and coming soon to Rockaway Beach. Pelican Brewing, born at the beach.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. The Daily Ticker brought to you by Pelican Brewing Company. 4 coastal locations: Pacific City, Tillamook, Lincoln City, Cannon Beach, and soon to be, coming soon to a coastal town near you, Rockaway Beach. PelicanBrewing.com, born at the beach. The commissioner of college football joining us every Thursday, as he does around 7:40. Josh Pate at Josh Pate CFB, the Josh Pate College Football Show on YouTube. Catch him on all the other platforms covering the sport in any and every way. Give him a follow on Instagram as well. Those Friday night lines hit different. He gives you all behind-the-scenes access at his stops. And we got to jump on the Ramen Noodle Express whenever we can. Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. So we got a new episode tonight. Now, Dirt noted, Pate, that you on Tuesday regrettably did not discuss Ducks Hoosiers. Not
What's
enough.
your beef, Pate? Why do you hate my team, man?
And so I want to know, man, you must be saving some big, juicy top 10 action in Autzen Stadium for a Thursday edition of Josh Pate College Football Show tonight.
That's actually what the rundown says. I'm looking at it in front of me, and you verbatim. So I would love to find our leak. Look, here's what I did the other night, and shame on me for only saying 3 times in the show I'm going to hit Indiana, Oregon on Thursday, because what people do, I have found, is they look at the timestamps. So they just go to the time of the show where it coincides with what they want to watch. Well, they looked and they looked and they looked. No Indiana, Oregon. This guy's a bum. Let me go call him out on the internet. And I was like, hey, guy, hey, fella, hey, Billy from Bend. I'm going to get to it. I told you I was going to get to it on Thursday. And then I've got certain hosts up there in the Pacific Northwest, and I certainly don't want to name names.
Sure.
But some people are prone to fanning certain flames, and I feel like that's what we're doing right now.
Well, I think we've learned in the last 2 weeks, if you pick against a team, you clearly hate that team. You hated Texas last week. I don't know how you could have been so wrong about that game, Pate. And then if you don't talk about them on the show, you got to hate them as well. Now, there's a lot of nasty rumors out there that Dan Lanning's opening up Gatorade bottles with 2 hands and closing the fridge with his hip, which has me a little concerned about my head coach. This is the beautiful part about you not previewing it on Tuesday, and it was funny to hear you mention it multiple times, and I see the YouTube comments like, hey, where's Oregon, Indiana at? The beautiful part about having you on today is that you haven't previewed the game yet on your show. You will tonight. We're excited to hear the whole thing. But just your initial thought, man. We were just talking about there not being a lot of juice in this game, even though game day is going to be in town. Do you feel the same way, and how much of it being Indiana being the opponent has to play into that?
I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. It plays into it for me. Like I like to go to at least one Oregon game a year. And look, I'm putting a lot of stock in USC right now. I'll admit that, but I'm trying to save my trip up there for later in the year. That's why I'm not up there this weekend. And that's not the way Dan Lanning and his team can afford to look at it, but that's the way I look at it. I think there's a lot of verification that still needs to happen with Indiana. Frankly, I'm going to see a game in Columbia, Missouri, where that has to happen with Missouri as they play Alabama. Yeah. Difference is they're at home. Indiana's on the road. Indiana's been really good at really flexing when they can, but then you have the Ohio State game last year, and then you have the Notre Dame game last year. And also the Iowa game this year, everyone thinks about the Illinois game. Well, that wasn't on the road. I think about the Iowa game because that was on the road, and that was a really close game. It sounds like I'm trying to talk myself into Oregon. It's not hard to talk yourself into Oregon. That place is incredible unless you're the road team to play in. I think that they are a scaling team, like they are an ascension mode type team. But I just want to see Indiana like flex on someone their own size or bigger, which Oregon is, and I want to see them do it on the road. And until I see that, it's not doubting or hating to just kind of have that skeptical viewpoint. If it were Georgia, maybe I'll blindly buy into them. I don't blindly buy into Indiana. And, maybe that's a bygone way of looking at the sport. Okay. Like, I do okay picking these games. I've been a Texas homer and hater in the past 8 days, guys. So I have found a way to wear all hats. I'm going to take – is this spoiling the show tonight?
Yeah, give us the reveal.
I may possibly. Oh. Hey, maybe I'm taking Oregon straight up, but Indiana plus the points. Maybe I'm doing that. The most cheap – double. What is that? Like a bench rider, two-way go. Yeah, whatever that is. That may be what I do tonight.
Look at that. Ooh,
You don't want to offend either fan base.
got breaking news on the show. Everybody's happy with Josh Pate.
I do want to ask you, though, on that, because I think that's interesting. Like, what is that line, Dirt? Is it 7.5?
7.5, yeah. It's come down in the week.
It's below double digits, right? And Oregon winning by double digits, I don't think shocks any one of the three of us. But if Indiana keeps that within a touchdown, and it's like, oh, can they get a stop here? Even if they lose, I think that kind of says something about Indiana. I couldn't find, and you obviously being from the South and being so into the SEC growing up and now in the entire sport, maybe you can come up with one. I can't find an example in my life that is similar, a comp, than what Indiana has become in just a season and a half, and surely probably will be by the end of the year. A program of Indiana's level was the 9 a.m. kick on ESPN that I never literally cared about one time in my entire life growing up.
In front of a quarter-full stadium.
And now it is a top 10 tilt that, to your point, is lacking some juice for the obvious reasons. Just, can you think of another comp in your life of a program that's taken a step the way that Signetti has at Indiana?
Yeah, it's Dan Mullen at Mississippi State.
Okay.
He got them to number one in the country when Dak was there. And I remember vividly. Hold on, I'm walking out here to get my breakfast bowl.
Oh, we know. We know.
Oh, yeah,
we know. We know the stair sound. Yeah. We know where you're going when you're walking the stairs. We know what's going on.
It's so sad. So that was 2014, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
They're number one. Mississippi State's number one in the country. They go to Alabama. Now, it didn't matter that State was number one. They're still a double-digit underdog. But it was only like 12 or 13, which if you played in Tuscaloosa in those days and if you were anywhere under a two-touchdown dog, you were legit. And they went in there, and it was a really hard-fought game. I was at the game. Bama ended up winning, but it was like a fourth-quarter war type game. Physically, they never wore Mississippi State down. And I do think what you're saying has a lot of merit. Like, if we were to turn this game on and Oregon's winning 30-27, I think that would just utterly stun a lot of people that it was even that close, because I don't think a lot of people who don't bet are even aware that, the odds makers' perception of this game is if you were to shave home field off of this point spread, that's what Oregon minus like 4.5, something like that. So they don't perceive there to be a massive gap between these teams. And I think that would surprise a lot of people, which is always why I know some people don't like the betting talk. That's fine. You don't need to bet on this stuff. I just want to use it to provide proper perspective going into games. Like, I was going to get up this morning, and they asked me, Can Missouri pull the upset on Alabama? And I just asked, what are we talking about? The spread's 3. What upset? What are we talking about here? So I kind of similarly think that way about Indiana, Oregon. Like, if Oregon wins this game close, you know as well as I do, they're going to be folks saying, uh-oh, what's wrong with Oregon? Well, nothing. They just won a game.
Yeah. Against a team who was ranked in the top 10, who was pretty darn good. I want to ask you mentioned having some faith in USC and trying to get out to Autzen for that game later in the year. They got a big one this weekend, man. Lincoln Riley 2.0. They're kind of restarting the way they're building that thing, reinventing the way they're going about trying to focus on defense and recruiting and all of that. They lose on the road at Illinois and give up 500 yards of offense, and they would say defensive injuries are a big part of it, and they're probably not wrong. But now Michigan comes to town, another team that can handle them at the line of scrimmage and ran the ball exclusively last year in their win in Ann Arbor. How big is that one for Lincoln Riley in year 4?
Really, really big, because they lost the Illinois game. So I think I was on with you guys preseason, and I said the Illinois game is the circle game. And it sounds weird if you're not dialed in on Southern Cal, but I am, so I do know that was the circle game. Well, they lost it. So the reason that was the circle game is because if you can't go handle Illinois, you still know, man, you got like games with Michigan coming up, and they're like a Illinois on steroids from a talent profile. And I just really worry the whole Lincoln Riley 2.0 thing. Like, if we get to a place, hold on, my Uber Eats driver went to the wrong road. You guys know how this works sometimes. If they get to a place where they lose this, if they lose it kind of like they did last year, where Michigan ran for 290 on them, what are you talking about? Because here's where I think they are. Where I think they are is they made good personnel moves. They made a good move last year at coordinator, but they can't flip the roster overnight. Now, I am a believer if they were to have patience another year with Riley, he'd get it turned around. But you don't get to ask for patience when you're several years in, and I do get that as well, because he should have made the right hires at the outset and all that. So if they get leaned on here and they get physically dominated, it's going to be a bad look, and there's going to be a lot of talk out there. They'll be in must-win mode the rest of the way. So they got receivers that match up well with Michigan. It's just, do they have time to throw? That's basically it.
Josh Pate, our guest here, Pate State, every Thursday at 7:40. Josh Pate College Football Show on YouTube. Catch him on all the other platforms covering the sport as well, Bussin' with the Boys, etc. On Twitter at Josh Pate CFB. Sunday, Tuesday, and tonight's Thursday edition, which he will talk more about Indiana and Oregon on Instagram as well for Friday Night Lines, the Ramen Noodle Express, and behind the scenes. I want to ask you a college football coach question, but you just, for some reason, listening to you grab the breakfast bowl and moving on, I'm not pocket watching, okay? But we can all be honest that life has gone well for Josh Pate. Do you feel more pressure when people recognize you to tip 20+% in everything you do?
Oh.
Great question. Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do. Because one of my nightmares, like some people are scared of drowning, some people are scared of like falling out of a plane. That's their reoccurring nightmare. My reoccurring nightmare is not that I've ever been an undertipper, but I undertip one time in my life, and then that person lets it be known on Twitter, and then till the end of time, I am bearing that brunt. I don't want to be that guy. I can't be that guy. So if anything, I just had this conversation last night with my waiter, no less. So, buddy, it's going to be a good night for you because it was great service. And also, he had recognized me, and I said, yeah, I can't have that. I mean, you could ruin me. Do you know that? You could ruin me right now. What, poisoning your food? No. That would be a cakewalk compared to what you could do online.
Well, the reason I asked that question is because the waiter reached out. He knew he was on Pate State. He listens to Dirt and Sprague from way over
clearly,
there. So he
he's a
gave
big
me the
P1.
info. And
Big
he's like,
P1,
hey, he tips and he feels that pressure.
Hey, I saw you on
ESPN.
ESPN this morning. It's a $4 tip, dude. What are we doing here? Now, I got a philosophical question for you, Pate. I hear the slander that is keep getting brought up about Dan Lanning from opposing coaches. Should it be slander to be a tummy sleeper? What is your take on tummy sleeping?
Come on.
I think it depends on how your neck feels, how your back feels. Also, do you have sleep apnea issues, that sort of thing. And look, I don't want to delve into Dan Lanning's personal life. That would be a HIPAA violation, or HIPPO violation, masculine form of HIPAA. But I just think that if you understand Dan Lanning, you understand it doesn't matter if you're his best friend and everyone understands it's tongue-in-cheek. That guy gets a little something from us playing around with him on air. Yeah. Again, because that's just the way he is. Well, I'm happy to participate. If that's what it takes for Oregon to cover this weekend, if it takes us saying that Lanning needs someone else to open his ketchup bottles for him, if it takes us planting fake texts from Kurt Signetti, that's all for the greater good. I think that's good for the sport.
Yeah.
I want to ask you before we let you go here, because I know you want to dive into the breakfast bowl. It sounds delicious. What is the scuttlebutt with the coaches circle that you're hearing on all of this Belichick stuff that is clearly flailing and flopping around, and it's kind of only a matter of time before that is going to end? What is kind of the takeaway off the record that you're getting from people?
I think it's done. I don't think it's going to work. No one thought it was going to work. No one thinks it's going to work. It's not working. And they're going to keep losing, by the way. So I don't know what they pull the plug. And is there a mutually agreed upon reduced buyout? That's really what I'm waiting on now.
Is there a bigger gap right now, not to go crazy here, but in your lifetime, is there a bigger gap, though, it feels, than what it takes to be an NFL coach versus what college football currently is with portal boosters and all of that, than having to go from one to the other?
Yes, that's why, like, all these people who keep saying, oh, it's just like the NFL, it's just like the NFL, they were always wrong about that. Sorry, had to say hey to someone right quick. They were always wrong about that. And I don't – look, it's not Bill Belichick's fault. Thank you. It's not Bill Belichick's fault that he took $10 million a year to coach college football, because he can't offer himself the job. So it's the fault of those who offered him the job. And when you really understand how that dynamic works, you understand, oh, they went over the AD's head. And it was board of trustee members who have no idea what they're doing, really, when it comes to hiring a coach, that hired him just because it's Bill Belichick, and they watched him win a bunch of Super Bowls. So, it must work in college, because we heard some people on TV say college is like the NFL now. Well, it's not, and it never was, and it isn't pacing that way. So now they're going to have to get rid of him. But now the pathetic thing is it's Bubba Cunningham, the AD, who's the one who has to, put his name on all the fancy graphics they're putting out at 9:30 on a Tuesday or Wednesday morning, oh, I believe in him. I never hired him to begin with, but trust me, I believe in him. And everyone knows it's fake. Even everyone up there knows it's fake.
Yeah.
And it will end. The question is when.
Well, we look forward to the new episode tonight. Josh Pate College Football Show on YouTube. He'll dive fully into Oregon, Indiana, Signetti. Google me. I'll be in Autzen this weekend. We look forward to that top 10 matchup, as we always look forward to our conversations with Josh Pate every Thursday starting at 7:40. Thanks for hopping on with us again, Pate. Enjoy the college football. We look forward to the Ramen Noodle Express, and we'll talk to you next week.
I appreciate it, guys.
All right, there we go. Josh Pate College Football Show on Twitter, at Josh Pate. CFB. That's the Daily Ticker, and it's brought to you by our great friends at Pelican Brewing Company. They have 4 coastal locations: Pacific City, Tillamook, Lincoln City, Cannon Beach, and soon to be, coming soon, Rockaway Beach. Pelican Brewing, born at the beach. Loaded third hour of the program. We'll dive into the Portland Trailblazers performance of one player specifically.
One guy picked up right where he left off last year.
I wonder which one you're talking about.
No, definitely can't trade him.
We'll get to that. We will get to the Mariners, who are on the brink of either heartbreak or coming through again against Scooball for the 4th time in one season.
4-0, man. That'd be impressive.
And we'll talk some more college football, NFL Thursday Night Football as well. Dirt and Sprague back with more on 105.1 The Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
If you've been arrested for DUI, you need a team of attorneys you can put your trust in. Call Reynolds Defense Firm today, online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. First on the Fan, Shaden Sharp in his first preseason game. Looks like he's ready for the regular season. 22 points, hit 4 threes, had 6 rebounds. They built a 21-point third-quarter lead over the Warriors before letting the reserves take over, and they gave up 51 points in the fourth for a 129-123 loss. Next up for Portland, the Kings at Moda Center Friday night. Week 6 of the NFL schedule starts in the Meadowlands. The Eagles and Giants both coming off Week 5 losses doing battle. 5:15 kick on Prime Video. Philly's 7-point favorites. Only one of the 4 teams able to close out their divisional series Wednesday night in the MLB postseason. That was the Blue Jays. They were not intimidated by Cam Schlittler. Get a 5-2 win. The Yankees are done. Now Toronto waits the winner of the Mariners-Tigers series. Detroit rallied from an early 3-0 deficit, blowing out Seattle 9-3. Series goes back to T-Mobile for the winner-take-all game 5 Friday night. In the National League, Cubs and Phillies both avoided elimination, so Game 4 is today. First in L.A., Dodgers trying to close out the series at home. They turn to Tyler Glasnow to start opposite Phillies Game 1 starter Christopher Sanchez, 3:08 first pitch. At 6:08, it's the Cubs and the Brewers. Neither team sure who's going to start today. We'll have complete coverage on 910 ESPN Portland beginning at 2:30. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for Sports Network.
All right, hour number 3. Welcome back in. During Sprague here, Portland Sports Leader, 105.1 FM, The Fan.
Good morning.
Hello, everybody. Hope your Thursdays are going great. We got Thursday Night Football tonight. Eagles and Giants. NFC East showdown. Swag shaking his head. He's out. We got 2 baseball games today.
What do we got on the NBA preseason docket?
I'm assuming the Blazers aren't playing today?
No.
After playing yesterday?
No, Friday they're at home to host the Kings.
Ooh, Friday night all of a sudden has turned into a juicy little sports night.
T-Wolves at Knicks. Might get a couple minutes from both those starters. Cavs, Bulls, Pistons, Bucks, Hornets.
No one cares!
What about the long Lions against the Clippers? The Long Lions, by the way, are a Chinese team.
How much is Kawhi getting paid for an appearance at that game?
Wong Zhao, Long Lions.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how they look. What's going on tonight? Lots to get to in this hour of the show. We will talk Blazers preseason basketball.
Yes.
Catch the fever. Coming up in a couple of moments. We'll get to it, I promise. We have not really dove into the Mariners blowing Game 4 yet, so that's on the docket at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Some fun with audio for you. We got a loaded hour, okay? Lots still to get to. We got to make our big pack picks. Big, juicy, big pack picks.
Yes. Everybody's playing this weekend, right?
Everybody's playing this weekend. We got 4 games to pick. I want to start this hour, though, with a little bit of a Pate postgame show here because we talked about something there at the end, and it's a game that is incredibly interesting for me. I don't know how the draft of the TV networks went this weekend because every week the order is different for different partners and stuff. But, like, if you would have asked me the primetime game in terms of a night game, Oregon and Indiana should have had a bigger profile, but it went to the 12:30 CBS slot. And again, I don't know if CBS had the pick.
They're probably the pick over NBC.
But also, USC and Michigan is that's as good a brand game as you could get in the history of the sport. So if NBC did have that pick, I also don't blame them there of saying, now let's go to the Coliseum, Michigan. This is their first trip out to L.A.
Yeah.
There's a lot on the line there, right? That has become a massive, massive game for Lincoln Riley. And I think Pate tries to toe each side of the fence here where he believes in the adjustments and changes that Lincoln Riley is making, and I don't blame him. He went out and hired a defensive coordinator that is well-respected. You look at the recruiting rankings. They have gone up in the last 16 months or so. They seemingly are taking that more seriously and investing more money. But also he's in his 4th year, and so do you get the benefit of the doubt of changing course as a program in year 4 if there still are no results? And so you lose to Illinois. Their next 3 games, Michigan at home Saturday, on the road at Notre Dame next weekend, And then on the road at Nebraska, I believe off of a bye. I can't remember if they have a bye. And then Nebraska or Nebraska and then a bye. But that's a challenging stretch that they're going into, coming off of that Illinois loss. And all of a sudden, this one could be circled, and they could be 4-2 at the halfway point of their season if they can't beat Michigan at home on Saturday night.
I think you also got to think about the slippery slope there. You lose to Michigan, you have one Big Ten road win under your belt so far, a year and a half into this thing.
At Purdue.
At Purdue.
And
it wasn't like you won 50-0.
33-17.
A little ugly there for a minute. You needed a fat pick six, a big boy pick six to kind of separate yourself in it. And so you lose this one at home. And by the way, Sharon Moore's not wrong. That is going to be loud Michigan fan.
A lot of Michigan fan there, yeah.
And so then you go to Notre Dame. You're going to be underdog in that game. And then you've got that Nebraska game, which talk about big games for both of those coaches. Where's that going to leave them?
That's not even for USC, counting them going to Eugene later this season.
Right. So your history's not great in the conference on the road, and you've got two massive ones. This one's kind of everything for you.
Last year they played Michigan. By the way, Michigan ran the ball 46 times for 290 yards. You know how many passing yards Michigan had in that win over USC?
I think
the answer is 32 passing yards.
It's very fair to say that he is kind of recalibrated and he's building differently and he's taking some elements of this team seriously more so than he maybe did or should have at the start, even though they did get to the Pac-12 title game, to be fair to him in his first year.
They did.
But then you had Caleb again, and you were massively underwhelming. And then it got even worse. And so I look at this, and because we've got a coworker that is a USC fan that likes to needle you a little bit, I just think if you reverse this, it would not be some painting of picture of, hey, it's actually better than you think if they're 8-4. Now, 8-4 is probably going to save him, and he'll be back next year, and it's going to be, you better go to a playoff, dude.
Yeah, is that when the expectations kick in year 5, then he's expected to do something at USC?
Well, I mean, it's just,
how long do we kick this can down the road?
Who has traditionally higher expectations in college football, USC or Oregon?
USC.
So imagine we flipped everything the way it's gone for both, and you said this is where USC and the Trojans were with Lincoln Riley in year 4, and this is where Dan Lanning and Oregon were.
USC went undefeated in the regular season and won the Big Ten in their first year in the conference and was ranked number 3 in the country right now.
And Lanning is like, hey,
struggling
if
to win 9 games.
4, man,
right.
It looks like it might be turning a little bit.
I think if that was Dan Lanning, I'd be here saying, what? 8-4 is acceptable in year 4?
Right.
And we shouldn't have higher expectations in USC.
So USC's got a real opportunity for themselves. If you go look at advanced analytics, like USC is pretty highly regarded. Their offense is certainly considered amongst one of the best in the country. I don't know if that is schedule or if they clearly have figured this out with a new quarterback, with Mayava, and we know the receivers are uber talented. But this is a big one because to me, this isn't about quarterback. This isn't about receivers. This ain't about Lincoln's offense. This is line play this weekend, guys.
Yep.
This is all going to be about those big boys on that end. They want to pound the rock. Underwood's good. I thought he had a really good game for them last weekend. I thought Sharon Moore was like, man, I'm so glad he came here. Like, yeah,
Thank
I would
God
say the same
for that
thing.
guy.
This is going to be, where is your line at? Have you really taken that necessary step? Because if you want to get into the playoff conversation, you need to see it up front. Because in that conference, it's just tough with Michigan maybe taking a step next year. Ohio State is going nowhere. Oregon is going nowhere. And let's wait and see on Penn State. This weekend, to me, is about, if you're turning it, those big uglies up front on both sides of the ball, even if you lose a close game, and I walk away going, line play held itself pretty together. Mayava threw a bad ball here, or Underwood's athleticism here, like a kickoff, something. If it's close, loss, but I feel good about your line play, okay. But if you get dominated in the trenches, maybe you're not as close as you think you are.
I mean, last year, again, to the point, Michigan threw the ball for 32 yards and beat them.
I remember watching that game.
They ran the ball 60 times for 300 yards on you. That's all they could. They couldn't throw the football.
Yes.
And they just turn around and hand it off and hand it off and hand it off and hand it off and hand it off. And that's all that they needed to do to win because they were just more physical than you at the point of attack, and it didn't matter how many skill players you had elsewhere around the roster. Bryce Underwood is a rapidly emerging story to me in the sport. he had a rough night when they went on the road to Oklahoma, and that's to be expected. He's a true freshman, tough place to play, good defensive coach. Like, totally get it. I'm not burying the kid. He was 9 of 24 in that game. It was not pretty.
Got into an altercation with Justice Haynes.
Yes, it was bad. It was bad, and they even hung in that game. They were around for the majority of it. Ended up losing 24-13. The next week they get the get-right game against Central Michigan. He ran all over them for 114 yards and 2 touchdowns. They go on the road to Nebraska, where the passing numbers necessarily don't jump off the page, but he had 61 rushing yards and a 37-yard rushing touchdown. And this past week, to your comments on Sherrone Moore and what he said, 270 yards, completed nearly 70% of his passes, no turnovers, didn't have to use his leg a ton, and they won the game comfortably. He is emerging as a guy in this sport, and Michigan's going to be a problem in the years to come because their talent profile is great, and now maybe they have the elite quarterback to go with it. That's something in the back of my mind. But also, if you're USC, you're already looking and saying, we're what fiddle in the Big Ten? We're behind Oregon. We're behind Ohio State. We're behind Penn State. I know who's having a down year, but last year, you're behind a lot of these programs, and now Michigan is just jumping ahead of you as well with a true freshman quarterback when this was supposed to be more of a pop year for you. This, to me, is the swing deciding game of their entire season.
You're a home favorite, by the way. I know
you're
it's
a
not
home
a big
favorite
number,
in this game.
Favored to win the game. So the whole, we lost, a field goal walk-off win for Michigan.
It would be a Vegas upset for Michigan to win this game. So you would be letting Vegas down in that regard. You look at the rest of their schedule, this to me, this tells the entire story of their season. This game does. If you can beat Michigan, I think you're in play to win maybe 9 games this year. Nebraska doesn't look unbeatable.
No.
Notre Dame has got it going. That's on the road. That will be tough, and I don't think you're beating Oregon at Autzen later this year. But you have a good chance to go 9-3, and that would be an okay year, lowering expectations for Lincoln Riley in year 4. If you can't beat Michigan at home this weekend with a true freshman quarterback, this is kind of how I felt about Washington, Maryland last week. Like, all of a sudden, 7-5 is in play for me if you can't win this game at home this weekend.
Oh, and they were down 20-0. That looked like everything we talked about.
They
right?
found a way to get back into it. They won the game, and now they got a chance to go win 8, maybe 9 games this year. That's huge for them in their development, but also Jed Fish is in year 2, and he's not at USC in year 4 like Lincoln Riley is.
Yeah.
So this to me, I just wanted to take a moment to talk about that game. We're not going to pick it today in our Big Pack picks, but just the amount of pressure that is on them to go win one of these marquee games in the Big Ten under Lincoln Riley. And this isn't even that big of a marquee win. This isn't Ohio State. This isn't Oregon. This isn't beating, some of these other teams that are in championship conversations.
This is the slight upticking Michigan
This is Tier
program.
B. This is Tier B of the Big Ten. Can you win a Tier B game in the conference? Because to this point in the conference, you have not been able to do that. So very curious to see how that one plays out. That's a night game, 4:30 on NBC.
Is that a bad kick time for him? Is 4:30 LA time? Is that too late?
Too much traffic to get into the stadium, so it won't be full at start time.
Too early? Does he need an 8 o'clock kick time the way you got Michigan State at home?
It needs a little bit later. Give people time to get into their seats. This is unacceptable. I didn't sign up for this. It is pretty funny to watch them blow up a 100-year conference and not be able to win road games in the Big Ten, though. Isn't that pretty good? Hey, they got one, though. I should be fair. Purdue.
I mean, it's not been good for my program, to say the least. But, it is kind of funny from that perspective of you guys.
We're better than this. We're better than this. Let's go to the Big Ten.
I mean, it's just kind of the reporting, right? Oh, crap. Oregon's better than us. Let's get out of here.
Uh-oh.
And then they came calling into the same conference.
We're here now. We're the captain now. Let's get to what happened last night. More of the same from one player. Is there a tune changing on another player? And is this guy the breakout star? What are we going to talk about? You know it. Blazer preseason basketball next. 105.1 FM The Fan.
6:30 a.m.
Well, was it just my imagination, or did I turn on a Blazer game last night and see a young guard hunting shots, looking confident, competent on the defensive end, in a contract year?
Oh, the temptations of a general manager to not get on the phone with an agent and say, here's $100 million, buddy.
Lock him up now. Look, a handful of takeaways from the game last night.
You have a handful, huh?
I do. I actually do. I told you I was going to watch this game last night. The Dodger-Philly game kind of sucked.
I had one.
Only one takeaway?
Only one.
Okay.
I didn't watch the entire first half.
Okay.
I missed it because of practice, but I final couple minutes of the first half and then the third quarter.
Well, let's start with the positive. The positive had to have been Shaden Sharp, who was in the starting lineup last night. They brought Denny Avdia off the bench. So your starting lineup was Drew Holiday, first starting lineup of the year, preseason. Drew Holiday.
Well, we were told not to put too much stock.
They're just trying.
Chance is mixing and matching and trying things.
Pieces are moving. You had Drew Holiday, Shaden Sharp, Tumani Kamara, Jeremy Grant, and Donovan Clingan. It's game one, preseason game one starting lineup.
Yes.
I mean, look, the biggest takeaway of the game had to have been Shaden Sharp, who looked confident, he looked aggressive, and a guy who we've talked about because he's in a contract year and in a big prove-it spot for them, and they might be bringing him off the bench, which we sure we want to do.
Not if he plays like that.
Looked awesome last night.
Oh, yeah, they will.
That would be criminal.
Oh, yeah, they will. Make him earn it.
Criminal.
Earn it.
Make him earn it.
Earn it.
Earn it.
What have you done?
Exactly. Jeremy Grant earned his starting spot last night.
Jeremy Grant has a gold medal. By the way, do people remember that? Or is that one of those like, oh, my God, he was on one of those teams?
I had no clue he was on one of those teams. What team? What Olympic team?
I think it was the COVID one, the 2020.
He was on that team?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. I'll take your word for it. Okay. Is that why we gave him an $800 million contract?
Well, it wasn't $800 million.
When we knew Damian Lillard was walking? Is that why we did that? Look, I was the one trying to be positive here, and you're the one that has dug me down to the depths, okay?
Yeah, he was on the 2020 Tokyo Olympic team.
He was on the Olympic team.
No, here's the thing. For me, I don't know what a handful of stuff for you is. The lineup's going to change, and he's going to have a game where Shaden doesn't start, and it's going to go back and forth on all these. Dude, I don't know, and I didn't see as much as you guys saw, right? I was catching up. I was seeing the box score because I couldn't
right out of
watch
the gate. He had 20 points in the first half, Shaden Sharp did.
20 in the first half. I think he finished the game with 22, correct?
22. He played
one shift in the third quarter.
He hung around about mid-third quarter-ish point. Dude, I saw a guy, and again, preseason, so we're not done.
Dude, dive in. Don't be scared.
Well, if he didn't play well, there'd be people diving in about how awful he was. And
that's why you don't give him $90 million.
So, yeah, I'm going to dive in a little bit and say I just saw a player that, one, was allowed to kind of operate more in what his game flow is. Like, we want to talk about the new offense. That's kind of something I'm interested in is, one, what is the offense? How is it going to look?
Ant's not dominating the ball anymore? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, they gave him the ball and they let him dribble a little bit, and he found his mid-range points, and he was able to attack and be aggressive, found some guys. Like, I just liked what I saw. Looked like a confident player ready to say, I'm going to go prove this year. Now, again, it's preseason game one, but...
Sure, 4 of 8 from 3 helps, too, for a guy who had question marks about shooting.
You can't poo-poo it because it's preseason, and then in the same vein say if he doesn't play well, it's concerning. You think you'd bring it preseason game one. So I'm going to give him the credit and say I really liked what I saw, and if he's going to be able to operate this way, I'd love to see him take advantage and be 50% from the field and 50% from three. But if he is going to take advantage and hit those shots, there's not a doubt in my mind you give him a contract. You have no choice at that point.
He's 21 years old, yeah.
I think he's 22. But
22,
it's great to see that start of the season for him to come out and be aggressive, hunt those shots, use his handle a little bit. I thought Lamar brought up a good point, man. Is operating with a confident handle and getting to the spots that he wants to shoot from. So that was my only takeaway. I know what your guys are going to be, but I didn't really have much else because I didn't have a lot of other questions or things I'm looking to, and that was great to watch, to see him operate that way.
Swag, your takeaway from last night?
Tumani knocking down wide-open threes in the first quarter was great. If he does that, he took the shots when the ball came to him and he knew he was open and he stepped into it and knocked him down. I don't want him forcing him, that sort of thing. He did have the one where he was jab stepping, I think, in the second quarter.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, God, if he hits that, look out. but he knocked down open ones. I hope Drew Holiday's just early season because he couldn't make anything. And if he's the starting point guard, he's got to be able to at least hit a little 8-step inside the three and knock that down and be respected. Otherwise, nobody's going to guard him. They're going to sag and clog the middle. Do I read anything into Klingon playing 11 minutes, or is that because Golden State doesn't have a real center?
Yeah, I mean, the other part of this is
they had
preseason.
Horford and Post and whoever.
Yeah.
So
it's not a traditional center.
And I'm saying,
game.
do I read anything into that, or is that a lineup thing? Because there really wasn't anybody for him to guard.
No.
And yeah, until they get some dudes back who like Scoot and whoever else isn't going to start, I think it's going to be a short rotation because that bench there's nobody there that should be seeing the floor.
Yeah, Klingon in the next one is.
What do we make of Young Hansen in his debut?
About what I expected.
He's a project.
He's
so
gonna
he's going to be
take
back and forth to the remix. He's not used to.
Oh, you think he's going to be back and forth?
I think they want him to get minutes because I think he's got to get used. He's got to get used to the officiating.
Rob's
he's not
not
used to
playing.
the officiating.
He's going to play Dwop instead?
They're going to get him early, but he's going to be in foul trouble constantly.
He had 6 fouls last night in 21 minutes.
Exactly.
He's a rookie, right? I mean,
that happens. Remember Greg Oden?
He's not going to get the whistle to start with, so that he's got to get used to. And the game's still moving a little fast for him.
Donovan's 11 minutes. I don't know what to make of that. It's game one of the preseason. But like Friday's interesting. Like if it's a minutes thing with him, and to my knowledge, I think he's playing. If Sabonis is playing, I want to see Donovan.
Yeah. Let's get 25, 30 minutes out there on Friday night.
Yeah.
Why not? A lot of these other guys did. Yeah. I think the biggest question we all had coming into the year was, where's the offense going to come from?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the $1 million question for this team. We'll get to. I want to talk about there's a win-loss projection out there for him from somebody, or for the Blazers, from somebody that we respect in the NBA world, and I want to tell you what his projection is and ask how we would feel about that and if we agree.
We'll get him on after vacation. By the way,
Yes.
I reached out to him. So.
We know they're good. We know they're good defensively. That is well talked about, well documented. How good, that's to be debated. But we know they're going to be good defensively. We don't know where the offense is going to come from. That's why the Sharp stuff was a nice sight of like, all right, he's handling
He's
the
a
rock.
bucket guy.
He's not standing in the corner. It's not Anthony Simons dribble. It's just I really enjoyed watching that.
It's an underrated part, Dirt, is the
Dude,
whole like
free
standing
him
in the
up.
corner. Scoot bitched about that
Yes.
last year. Like, why am I standing in
Get
a
him
corner?
involved. These are the guys who use top 10 picks on. Anthony Simons' time was done. I'm so much more in now without him on the roster. I can't even tell you. You mentioned the Tumani part. Like, that's the other aspect of offense is what can his offensive game turn into this year and what is the ceiling on him. So game one, it was really good to see.
Mm-hmm.
The only other takeaway that I had is there's just a weird thing going on right now with this guy and the way he's answering questions about coming off the bench or not coming off the bench. God forbid we bring him off the bench. Jeremy Grant was dog-ass last night, and he was terrible last year. It's game one of the preseason. I know.
2 of 11, though.
I'm not rushing to a conclusion. He was awful
If there's
in that
one
game.
guy that you just
but we're
want
paying him $150 million, so we have to have him in the starting lineup.
know.
Like, the only thought I had watching that game last night is I'm trying to be more optimistic and positive because Jody's finally on her way out. I'm very excited about Tom Dundon. They made moves in the offseason that I supported. Anthony Simons' time to go was now, and they finally pulled the trigger on that.
Ayton, bye-bye.
DeAndre Ayton was just a walking, empty stat sheet, and I'm excited to see him not on the team anymore. If you have Jeremy Grant in your starting lineup and Shaedon Sharp's coming off the bench, I'm going to have a really hard time with that because you cannot tell me earn it when this guy's not elite defensively anymore. He's doing nothing to help you on the offensive end, and you're just starting him because he's a veteran who makes a lot of money.
Well, I mean, look, 2 of 11, not a great start to the preseason.
It's game one of the
at
preseason.
least,
I get it. We'll see how the rest of the
we
preseason
saw,
goes.
we heard him in the media day of like, I thought I was getting traded, and it's 160.
He's a guy who
by the
doesn't
way.
want to be here anymore.
It's 160, not 150.
Thank you. Thanks for the
You
reminder.
undersold it by $10 million.
Yes, I did. And he went from 2 years ago in Portland, he averaged 21 points per game, 45% shooting, 40% from three. Last year it was down to 14 points per game. Almost 10% fell off his field goal percentage, and he went from 40% from three to 36% from three.
I mean, the whole like prove it and earn it, and I get that that's kind of the rhetoric, but I also find that laughably bad. It's not proving it. It's not earning it. There's a contract veteran guy thing, and that's it, because it's not play. It's not. But Shaedon will get his opportunity. If Shaedon just worries about Shaedon and not, I'm in the lineup, not in the lineup, and he said in the media day, I'll play wherever. You want me to come off the bench? I'll do it.
He's handling it well for
he took He took a great approach, and 9 of 15 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3, 6 boards. Like,
Gets the start on the first preseason night and delivered.
He went out and did what he was supposed to do.
And he was engaged defensively. He's still learning. He still got pump faked and
not going to be his strength.
He's
but
never
he
going
was
to be an elite
engaged
defender.
defensively. He wasn't just passive standing there looking around.
Good start for him. Bad start for the Jeremy has to be in the starting lineup crowd, but that'll work itself out throughout the season. Chauncey, you say this about Chauncey, right? You can be somewhat critical of what Chauncey's tenure has been. From a percentage-wise, it's been truly horrific. But I do think Chauncey is flexible and not stubborn to the point where if it's really going to keep going this way, I think he makes a move.
There's no reason and no excuse to not to. That's the whole point.
I agree with that, but I think
how long are we going to bang our head against the wall and say this isn't going to change or this is going to look differently when it was awful last year? And again, it's one game. Maybe he goes off for 30 on Friday night against Sacramento, and we're like, hey, there you go, Jeremy Grant. What a game. He looked awful in the
other
first half
question
of that
I
game
have,
last night,
they came out, everybody was picking up at midcourt. They did some full court pressure. Can they sustain that level of energy playing at that pace with how short their bench is going to be?
I'm not ready to buy the. By the way, that's always the media day takeaways. We're going to play faster up tempo. Like that was a traditional Stotts thing as well.
Yeah.
I know they want to do some of this stuff. I'm not buying that this is going to be every game Nolan Richardson. I think there's going to be moments in it, like little spurts.
Minutes of hell.
Right. But because of the depth issues that you point out, rightfully so, I just don't think you're able to do that as much as you want to.
Until you get Rob Williams and Thibault and Scoop back, you can't do that. You can pick and choose moments. Maybe you're feeling like, hey, we've got a little momentum. Let's go to a press, see if we can take a 6-point lead to a 14-point lead before halftime. Something like that.
Caleb Love. You love Love. You love
Chris
Love
Murray.
last night. All right, that's all the takeaways I have. Game 1 of the preseason was last night. Watched the entire first half, and then I was like, all right, that's enough preseason basketball for me, but some takeaways nonetheless. Fun to talk about. Now let's get to the projections. Somebody out there in the NBA, a well-respected NBA mind, said this is what your Blazers will do this season. How do we feel about the prediction? And if it is ending up being correct, if the prediction ends up being correct, how do we view the season? Let's talk about that. We'll do it next. First, here's Swag with Sports Center.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, Shaedon Sharpe looked the part starting the Blazers' first preseason game. 22.6 rebounds, 4 of 8 from three-point range. He, with the starters, built a 21-point lead in the third quarter before they were done. The reserves, they gave up 51 to the Warriors in the fourth quarter, ended up losing 129-123. They will be home for the first time Friday with the Sacramento Kings rolling through. Week 6 of the NFL slate will start in the Meadowlands, an NFC East grudge match. Giants hosting the Eagles, both coming off Week 5 losses. 5:15 kick on Prime Video. Philly, a 7-point favorite. Blue Jays punched their tickets to the ALCS. They did not fear Cam Schlittler, handling him in a 5-2 win. Yankees are done. Toronto awaiting the winner of the Mariners-Tigers series. Seattle missed an opportunity to knock out Detroit, up 3-0 early. Bullpen couldn't hold it. They lose 9-3. Friday, T-Mobile, 5 p.m. first pitch, winner-take-all Game 5. In the National League, Cubs and Phillies avoided elimination, so we have 2 Game 4s today. First in L.A., Dodgers will try to close things out. They turn to Tyler Glasnow going up against Phillies Game 1 starter Christopher Sanchez. 3:08 first pitch. Then at 6:08, the Brewers and Cubs. Their pitching rotations are jumbled. Don't know who's starting quite yet. We'll have complete coverage on 910 ESPN Portland at 2:30. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Kurt missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of
All right, we got to get to our big pack picks coming up in a little bit. We have not talked about the Mariners yet. That's in the notes. People making fun of the Yankees last night. We'll get to that. I have some fun with audio that I thought deserved to be played because it's been a rough go for Oregon State University.
Oh, God, this again?
It's not bad. I have fun with audio. Can you back me up here? Pretty good?
This is positive.
Thank you.
Oh, Beaver fan saying he still believes.
No, it's not a fan.
No.
It's not a fan. I'll play it for you.
Okay, all right.
It was one moment of like, you know what, that was cool. Good for him, and that was fun to listen to. So we'll get to that at some point. How does it feel to talk about preseason basketball? Move, screen.
That sound and the NFL offensive lineman. Underrated sound in sports.
Get you going a little bit?
I mean,
with the crack of the bat and BP.
That's a
crack of the bat and BP is pretty solid.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, it's preseason. We're not trying to sell you something that.
No, it's just fun. It was fun to have him back last night.
It was nice to have it back. It's gonna be nice to have it on a random Tuesday.
I'm glad
and
they were
Wednesday.
playing the Warriors, and the Warriors played their dudes.
Yeah,
too.
they had their starters in the game for the majority of the first half.
Now, did their dudes look totally checked in?
No.
No,
no, they don't quite.
Nobody
have as much
should.
to prove as
the
we do.
preseason,
But their dudes were out there. It wasn't Brandon Pajemski and
Steph Curry not playing and
Kuminga starting.
Well, we're getting close to the tip-off of the season. What are we, 2 weeks away? Less than 2 weeks away from the start?
21st, I want to say.
is opening night. So
somewhere around there.
a week from next Tuesday, I believe that would be. It's right around the corner.
Yep.
I saw the thing about the Inside the NBA crew and their opening week schedule on ESPN and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're almost there. That means it is time for projections on what's going to happen in the upcoming season. Kevin Pelton is as good as it gets in the NBA. We've had him on the show a million times. We'll have him on before the season starts. And he went through every team in the NBA and released his win-loss projections or projected wins for every team in the league.
Okay.
And I want to ask, one, how do we feel about the projection? And two, how would we view the season if that is how it ended up going? So he went through everybody in the NBA. He has the Portland Trailblazers. Drum roll. His projected wins this year for the Trailblazers is 35.8.
35.8?
35.8. The description, and I'll tell you where that falls in the Western Conference.
By the way, you're James Harden days away from the tip-off of the NBA season.
Thank you. We forgot about that one. Portland won 36 games last year and upgraded in my projections by swapping Anthony Simons for Jrue Holiday. The market is right to be skeptical of Portland's 23-18 second half, driven in large part by poor opponent three-point shooting, which doesn't typically carry over. Still, this line seems like an overreaction for a team that wants to compete for a play-in spot. Now, his line he's talking about there is the over-under for their year, which is somewhere in the 33 to 34 range, depending on the book you get.
I was stunned how low it was. And it's
Very
not that
low.
I think this team is stacked to the ceiling with talent. It's just like that much lower?
That's pretty low, right? They won 36 games last year. 35.8 wins would project them to be 12th in the Western Conference. The only teams worse than them this year would be Phoenix, New Orleans, and Utah.
Yeah.
One, how do we feel about 35.8? Two, how do we view let's just round up and say another 36-win season?
36 and 46, that would be a little disappointing.
I mean, yeah, I'd say so, right? If you don't have an improvement on win-loss record.
Okay, so the standard, so now that you said that, I just want to make sure we set the table of this stuff because this preseason is going to fly by. October 22nd.
Yeah,
will
there's
be
3
here.
more
what
games.
the thoughts are on the year and what they should accomplish.
So when you say it's a little disappointing, you're telling me you don't really put an expectation of play-in on the team because you're not getting into the play-in with 36 wins.
No.
If you watched, think about how many dudes can actually play starting the season. 7 or 8? They might come out of the gates.
You're not wrong there.
And lose a bunch of games just because they might build leads if they get a starting 5 and develop some rotation. But unless you're going to burn dudes out playing 38, 40 minutes with your starters, and as we mentioned, offense at times might be challenged if Jeremy Grant's going to be Jeremy Grant. If Klingon doesn't give you anything down in the post and he's only playing 15 minutes a night and they don't have a backup center and Young's not ready.
Yeah.
Unless they drill threes like they did in the first half. So,
I mean, this is something I pointed to with Donovan specifically because I'm excited. It's not even like a breaking news in any way take. He's good on defense. Yeah, we know. More at 11.
Jrue Holiday can't make jump shots.
It's offense. It's offense. Like if Donovan's not and this is where the process of elimination offensively has to come into a factor here. If Jeremy's going to be this again, if Donovan's not taking a step, right?
Offensively,
if
yeah.
Tamani is largely statistically what he was last year,
good at times, but inconsistent occasionally. And
boy, if that Denny Avdia 27 a game, 26 a game
that
that I've
comes
heard
back
about
to
doesn't
20.
take that lump, or it wasn't even 20 last year.
Yeah.
If it's 17, 18 again, that's where we talk about the offense of this. And I noted the Richmond stat, 44 of the last 50 teams to finish top 10 defensively, because that's everything they're holding on to, right?
We're
As an
elite
organization.
defensively,
We're elite
yes.
defensively.
Yes.
The last 41, we were top whatever. The last 44 of 50 teams to finish top 10 defensively made it. So if that's them and they don't, you are talking historically about an all-time letdown situation.
Now,
You're an outlier.
Two of your top defenders are hurt to start the season, so you've got that. And unless their defense can generate a flurry of easy transition buckets, that's where the defense, if they can actually force steals or quick shots and run out and they're getting layups, that's how they overcome it. But if they have to go down and set up in the half court frequently until they get some more dudes back, I don't know how they sustain things night to night.
I think you're placing a little much on one of those guys hurt. Like Rob Will, we know the impact he is when he's playing. They did largely what they did last year with no Matisse.
Yeah, I honestly at times last year forgot he was even on the team.
He played 15 games.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't do what they did because Matisse Thybulle played for 41 games. They did what they did because of Tamani Kamara. Yeah. He was outstanding. Donovan was good, right? Like, Matisse being out, yeah, it's a little bit of a setback. You should still be a good defense if that is what you tout.
Especially adding Drew Holiday to the mix, swapping him for Anthony Simons. It will improve you defensively.
So, like, I don't know if KP is going to end up being right. He is one of those, like, I do think he's valid in pointing out percentage plays of
what happened at the end of last season.
Yeah, shooting splits went kind of more your favor. I do think you could still go back and check schedule stuff, but
how many times did they play a team without their best player as well in that bunch at the end of the year?
It's and the whole, like, well, they're balancing guys. They have all this youth, and yeah, but they've been balancing this youth veteran stuff the entire way. Like, they've made it look like they're going to go complete youth, and then they bring in a vet. And so it's like, for me, I don't even look at that. I just simply say it's year 5, man. Make the play in.
That's, to me, totally fair.
That's not an unfair ask to be one of the 10 teams in the Western Conference.
Last year it was Dallas as the 10 seed. They won 39 games.
Everybody says you're better than New Orleans. Everybody says you're better than Phoenix. Everybody, not Kevin Pelton, but everybody says you're better than Sacramento, and we know you're better than Utah. There's 4 teams right there.
And so
be a playing team.
Yeah, based off his projection, if they can steal 1 extra game a month, that's 41.
Yes, you're right there.
Then you're in the play-in.
Yeah, I
lean that they will be, by the way.
You do lean that they will be?
A play-in team.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my expectation, and I do think they can steal that 1 game a month because they've got guys who give an S every night.
I think it's okay, too, to, like, have... At some point, there have to be expectations. Like, this can't just be a...
You're going to go to year 6 and say
build in perpetuity of, like, well, next year we'll do it. Well, next year's the big trade.
Right.
And I think what highlights that more so for me, I wouldn't have had that. I would have had this fear maybe in the back of my mind had certain things not changed in the offseason. Like, you got an owner who's taking over who is going to come in and shake things up if there are not
you're not making
a win-loss improvement, right?
Everybody's job might be on the line.
That's the whole point. So, like, this is the year where it's like, all right, you've had 4 or 5 years to build this out. You just gave contract extensions to the general manager and the head coach, who I don't think Cronin's been terrible. I have issues with some of the stuff that he's done. He hasn't been perfect, but no GM is. But, like, at some point, there has to be an expectation of, are we taking a jump? Because they took a jump last year. And then you touted that jump to say these guys deserve contract extensions. Now, if you tell me the next year they just plateau and they're exactly the same, to me, that would be a massively disappointing season for Portland. I'm not asking you to win a playoff series. I'm not even asking you to make the playoffs. I think a base level expectation of this year should be play-in. And if you only win 35 games or 36 games, guess what? You're not in the play-in, and it's a disappointing year.
I mean, 36.
And it's okay to say that.
Yeah, 36 was 3 games out of the play-in.
You're not that far off, dude. It's not that big of a difference between being from where they were to where Dallas was in the 10 seed. That's all. That small of a margin is all you're asking for them to improve this year. What was their win-loss jump from 2 years ago to last year? What did they win? 22? Was it 22
it was 15 games. It was
15 games, 21 to 30.
Yeah,
so that's
bad,
I'm not asking for 36 to 51. I'm asking for, can you go 36 to 39?
Yeah.
Can you go 36 to 40? That's not a huge jump. They should be asked to do that. And Pelton says 35 wins on the year. Let's get to, we're not going to have time. I'm going to kick the big pack picks to the final hour. Let's ask, where's the pucker factor, and make fun of this team again, because, why not do it the entire show? That is next. 105.1 FM, The Fan.
FM and 1080 AM.
Well, I don't know what your Mount Rushmore is of making fun of teams that lose.
Oh.
But the Yankees are got to be on everybody's list, right?
Mine are sadly kind of predictable.
Are they? Yankees, Lakers, Duke.
You know what's weird? The
Lakers
Laker
done.
one, I don't really care.
Because you're a LeBron guy.
No, had nothing to do with
I
LeBron.
think it does. LeBron guy over there, not the GOAT.
Basketball, I find, is harder one for me to make fun of. And I would argue that in my life, and I know the Lakers have caused quite the heartache and heartbreak.
Yeah, it's the last time we won a conference finals game was against that team.
It's hard to beat making Draymond Green lose.
Yeah, Draymond Green's pretty good. The hatred of Draymond Green has definitely risen. This happened last night on FS1 at the end of the game. It started with a player, and then a former player, current analyst, jumped in.
Dale. The Yankee lose. The Yankees lose. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Hey, let's do it again. The Yankees lose. The Yankees lose. Yankees lose. Let's go, baby.
But you don't take it personal. I get it.
Derek Jeter all butthurt on the corner of the set. Just laughing at his face. So that was Vladdy. Vladdy Jr. was on the postgame show. They're pouring champagne on his head.
Sitting between A-Rod and
right in between
Jeter.
A-Rod
That's
and Jeter.
what makes it beautiful.
So Vladdy's the first one. He's like, "Hey guys, guess what? The Yankees lose," and then him and Ortiz start going back and forth.
I give you a take on that. The A-Rod part, A-Rod didn't care.
No, I don't think he
A-Rod's
cares
played-
at all.
He was laughing. He was like,
well,
"Yeah,
he played.
that's kinda fun."
I mean,
Jeter was the one that was. You could
Jeter's
tell
butthurt.
was like, "Yeah, this isn't funny."
Yeah, when they're previewing the Mariners, A-Rod's trying to go reassociate his start of his career and latch on to the 95 refuse to lose guys.
Yeah, that was pretty fun last night. I don't want to dive into the Mariners yet because they deserve a little more time than this. I just wanted to play that audio because it's, the Yankees
Who's
losing.
your Mount Rushmore?
Yankees are definitely on there.
I'm surprised to hear you say that. I just would have thought, baseball-wise, you'd stay more NL, but I guess the Yankees are so universally hated or loved.
Here, I guess for me,
They've never broken your heart.
No.
They've ripped my heart out.
Sure.
I cried in 96.
I guess I'm viewing it two different ways, right? So for me, there's
my mom called me a little bitch.
Yeah, a little bitch. Stop
You
crying
over a baseball game?
Because I guess to the point of like rivalries, like there's certainly teams that I root for more. This is more of like I was thinking more of like a generic, like collective rooting against. Like I root against the Washington Huskies and the LA Dodgers more than I do any other sports team.
So there's two Rushmores.
So those would be two for me personally. This is more of like a general, the collective Yankees, and they didn't cause me any pain. I love
Notre
watching
Dame
them lose.
football.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame does it for you, huh?
Yeah.
The Beavs own them.
I know.
So what do you care?
No, I just think in general, like he's saying, I think a lot of people
The
are,
collective
No,
rooting
I'm
interest in
asking
the
your
fans.
guys'
shoved
is
down.
Rushmore.
So my Rushmore
We
would
know
be
what the collective-
Washington
Lakers.
number one,
Okay.
Dodgers number two.
the San Francisco Giants.
Mm-hmm.
The
funny thing is, neither of you will name another NL West team.
No, I don't care about the Padres or the Rockies or the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
That brings me USC. Why not? I'll throw USC on
You
there.
do love
Yeah.
to needle USC
I
and
do,
have for a
yeah.
long
It's
time.
fun to
Yeah.
watch them.
Watching us take over and be the dominant program on the West Coast has been one of the joys of my life.
What one of the joys of your life?
The
Well,
49ers.
God. Oregon
I
taking over
can't
USC.
stand
49ers
the
still do it to you?
49ers. Yeah.
Even though you're not a Cowboy fan
Even
anymore?
though they wrecked. I
Mhm.
can't
You
stand
damn right
the
they did.
49ers.
Cowboy spin point.
God, finding
Yeah.
a fourth one's hard. There's a lot of teams that I like watching to lose. I'm trying to think of like somebody who's caused me pain.
It could be the Lakers.
Yeah.
Is the Lakers?
I mean,
it
to
sounds
your
like it doesn't
point,
do it for
it's
you
been,
either.
to your point, we have been so irrelevant as compared to them for 25 years that it's not what it used to be. 10-year-old me would tell you, like, yeah, without a doubt, that's not a rivalry.
They also were better than us every time.
Always.
The only time we disappointed against them was the 90
The Cliff
one
year where-
finals.
yeah.
Or the 90,
the
91.
year we should have been in the finals.
Yes.
And lost
and they beat us somehow and then lost to Jordan.
And
But
then 2000.
yeah, but I'd say at least like we choked that away, but also they have Kobe and Shaq. You didn't lose that game and say, we're going to get them next year. You're like, damn, dude, Kobe Shaq. And then the next year, Kobe Shaq.
Yeah.
And then, like that they had a thing where, yeah, we hate them because they're LA, beat LA is always a fun thing. And I'm not speaking for everybody here, but they've always been better than us.
Always. It's
Largely.
not a rivalry. I remember getting to college and rooming with a kid, buddy of mine to this day, who's from LA, and asking him about his thoughts on the Blazer-Laker rivalry, and he looked at me and laughed. I was like, what? We're rivals? I was like, yeah. Like, remember we used to...
Remember 2005?
Remember? And that was right when Kobe was winning back-to-back NBA championships, and
Yes.
we were in a rebuild and not in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And, I was like, we're not rivals at all. So
I think part of this, you need something to have really...
Yeah, you need something to have chapped your ass.
Because prior to 2000, I didn't really have anything in the Blazer-Laker thing.
No, because I'm not old enough to remember Cliff and the blunder in the year that they should have gone to the finals.
Actually, when heyday of it was the Jazz.
Jazz,
Karl
I hated
Malone,
Jazz.
Stockton, I hated
That's a good
them.
one.
The
Jazz are a
Rasta
good one.
Monster.
But
and
now
all that.
and I don't know if I hate them anymore.
They've quit.
They've
I mean,
quit.
Well, they're
They've been irrelevant
so
for a long
bad
time.
that-
They
Yeah.
want to be so bad.
Well, the Yankees lose, and they're in the offseason. Welcome to Cabo, baby. Let's get to our big pack picks. We'll start the final hour there. We'll get into the Mariners, who now are facing a Pucker Factor Game 5. We got Thursday Night Football. It's a loaded final hour. Don't go anywhere. Dirt and Sprague, 105.1 FM, The Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, Portland Trailblazers opened up the preseason Wednesday night at Golden State. Fine performance from Shaedon Sharpe, 22 points, getting the start. Hit 4 of 8 threes, had 6 boards. Portland built a 21-point lead in the third quarter before the regulars sat down and the reserves gave it away, 129-123. Next up, Portland at home Friday hosting the Sacramento Kings. An NFC East grudge match to start Week 6 of the NFL schedule from the Meadowlands. It's the Giants and Eagles both coming off Week 5 losses. 5:15 kickoff on Prime Video. Philly 7-point favorites. Blue Jays were the only team On Wednesday, to close out their divisional series, they end the Yankees season with a 5-2 win. They will await the winner of the Mariners-Tigers series, which is forced to a winner-take-all Game 5 after Detroit came back from a 3-0 deficit for a 9-3 win. That is Friday in Seattle. Today, it's Game 4s of the National League Divisional Series. Dodgers trying to close out the Phillies yet again. They hand the ball to Tyler Glasnow, opposite Phillies Game 1 starter Christopher Sanchez. 3:08 first pitch in Chicago. The Brewers and Cubs still figuring out who their starters will be for a 6:08 first pitch. Complete coverage on 910 ESPN Portland begins at 2:30 this afternoon. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Sports Saturday.
Sizzler. Hey, let's do this final hour. Dirt and Sprague here, 105.1 FM The Fan, 1080 AM, the Odyssey app, live on YouTube. Good morning, everybody. We call that the Fan Sports Network. Thanks for spending your mornings with us. If you're watching on YouTube, like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Great content up there, day in and day out. And you can watch all of our shows live. Appreciate everybody for tuning in this morning. In the final hour, we'll talk a little Thursday Night Football. We got Eagles and Giants. Are you going to poo-poo it like Jason Swigard? Do I get a double poo-poo?
He's going to poo-poo?
Do I get one poo or two poo? How many poos for the game tonight?
Boy, Thursday Night Football is such a bad anthem that it's not on our... We have Fox, CBS, Sunday night, Monday night.
And they got Shabuzi now. It's too much. You know my take on it. I talked about it. Like, Shabuzi, dude.
Yeah, he does their opening song.
Who's that?
Shabuzi is Shabuzi.
Everybody in the bar getting tipsy?
Not know who Shabuzi is.
Sorry, I even know who Shabuzi is.
It's a person, not a band?
It is a person.
Well, it might be the name of the band, but it's a person.
I think it's one guy, but I don't know. I think it's one guy.
Well, Zach Brown is one guy, but it's the Zach Brown
band.
It
might be like Daughtry. It might be one of those things.
So we'll talk a little Thursday Night Football. We will get to the M's, who got a pivotal Game 5 tomorrow night at home, and react to that one. I have some fun with audio for you that maybe will put a smile on your face. We'll see. To be determined. Let's start the final hour, though.
Yes.
With the long-awaited, award-winning segment that is known as our Big Pack Picks.
Spicy.
Swag hasn't made picks in a couple weeks. It's been more of a producer chair of picks.
Probably a good thing.
As I do my Dr. Evil quotations. Last week wasn't great. Well, only 2 games to pick last week. That's all we got. It was Appalachian State, Oregon State, and then obviously Maryland and Washington. Oregon and Washington State were both on byes last week.
Yeah, 1-1 for me.
I was the only one who took Appalachian State.
Yeah.
Pained me to do it, but I had to do it. And we all 3 took Maryland and got that win as they covered against the Huskies. The number of that game was 6.5. So season standing, Sprague still in first place, 11-7.
Hey,
I'm 10-8. And the producer chair is now 5-13. You got some ground to make up here.
At what point do we say he's eliminated?
He's just kicked out of the.
Because it might be this week, statistically.
The rest of the way. We will start, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready? Start your engines. Friday night in Seattle. This game. Let me make sure I get my channel right. Give me a second.
FS1 or Fox?
FS1. You are correct. 6 o'clock start time on FS1. The Vegas Insider line on DraftKings. Washington at home against Rutgers. Washington minus 10.5.
10.5?
10.5.
I need to look up.
That makes me want to go Doc Brown, Ronald Reagan, the actor? The actor? So they lost by 10 to Iowa.
They did.
They lost at Minnesota by only 3.
Yeah.
And they've handled Ohio, Miami of Ohio, and Norfolk State. So I have no idea what Rutgers really is. Short week, though, going west. You know what? I'm going to ride the Huskies as a big dog here.
Should be noted, by the way.
Yeah.
Now, hold on. Let me double confirm this.
Because they're both flying back from the East Coast on a short week.
They are. Is Rutgers not off of a bye?
You might be right.
Rutgers is off of a bye.
That's right, because Ohio State beat Minnesota
This is
last
one
week.
of those stretches
Oh,
of games
God.
where they're playing teams off of a bye.
You know what?
So I wanted to just put that out there for the record.
10.5 feels like a trap line of it's
Ooh.
going to end at 10, but
Is it a drop?
I'm laying the big
You
wood.
do it?
I'll take the Huskies minus 10.5.
Okay.
No, I think they had their almost oops moment there with Maryland where they weren't quite ready to go when they needed to be, and they salvaged it. And I think Fish and the boys will use that to say, hey, let's make Rutgers not want to be here any longer than they have to be. So, no, I think they discovered something internally about themselves and their capabilities. And I think, weather's probably gonna be crappy Friday night. Plays right into their hand. I think the Huskies roll.
Yeah, we checked the forecast for Seattle for Friday night. The M's don't have to deal with it, obviously, at Safeco.
They got a roof.
Because they got a roof, so they'll be all right. But I was curious on what that was going to be and if it impacts it either way. I will say I've watched a little bit of Rutgers in the last 2 games.
Have you?
I have, because the Iowa game was a Friday night game. So that was kind of, because if that game's made on a Saturday, I'm not watching that. And then I knew they were playing Washington in their next game, so I was curious to see how they're not great. They're not terrible. Like, Rutgers has some pieces, and they can give you some problems.
They also got a good rush defense according to their Iowa-Minnesota stats. Like
They do.
sub 100
Like,
yards, sub 50
You go
yards
back
in one game.
Yes, go look at the Iowa game, too. Like, Iowa randomly scored a lot of points. They returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown. Like, it wasn't all just offensive fireworks for Iowa in that game.
I know where you're going.
I mean, that to me is a lot of points for a team coming off of a bye who's had 2 weeks to sit around and prepare for you. You had to fly all the way out to Maryland and play a game 3,000 miles and then fly all the way back 3,000 miles. You get back in the middle of the morning on Sunday probably. Like, that's a late return. And they're just sitting back, getting healthy, waiting for you. Washington's going to win this game. They're not going to lose at home to Rutgers. You tell me it's 38-28, 31-21. Not surprised. I'll take the Rutgers. Take the Rutgers. I'll take the points with Rutgers.
I'm all gravy, baby.
Next up, this is an early start time on Saturday morning. I believe a 9:45 start time Saturday morning.
SEC Network.
Random kick time.
Why would you start a game at
Well, the
45?
SEC Network, they stagger it on the SEC Network after because Bama plays at 9, so they
don't want the game at the same time kicking off.
There.
Weird kick time.
Washington State coming off a bye. Ole Miss coming off a bye. Washington State on the road in Oxford, Mississippi. And according to the Vegas consensus line, the Cougs are catching 32.5 points in this game.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take the points and say that this game could definitely be 65-0 if Ole Miss wanted it to be. I don't think Ole Miss cares. I think Ole Miss wins this by 29, and they walk away going, yeah, we took care of our business. On to the next one. They should blow the Cougs out. I'll take 30. Is it 32.5?
32.5.
I'll take 32.5. That's a lot of points.
Okay.
Hey, bro. Welcome to Casa de Wood.
Really?
Doing it?
Miss, this is
They're going to roll them. We know that.
They're going to kill them. We know
them.
that, yeah.
And I think they want to build confidence before they get into the gauntlet part of their
Pete Harris
schedule.
came in the other day and goes, "Now, is it a win if my team covers the number?"
No. I think
You're not wrong.
What the hell, dude? I'll give you a win for that. Yeah. I'm taking the Cougs here for one reason and one reason only.
A lot of inspired by the Grove.
Not just the point. That is a lot of points. I mean, that's another reason. So maybe 2 reasons. Do you know who Ole Miss plays next week?
A Georgia something.
Bingo. On the road against Georgia.
That's kind of my point.
What do we call this?
The look-ahead
Trap,
spot.
trap.
They don't care about playing Washington
Not at
State.
all.
They don't give a rat's ass about this game.
Not at
Their minds are completely on Georgia, and they know they're going to win. You give me 32, that's got backdoor written all over it. Give me the Cougs. Cover the 32.5.
Good little trip for Coug fans, even if you know your team's going to get bludgeoned.
Yes. Go to Oxford. Great tailgate spot. That's
See what all the hype's about, man. Wear a tie, all that stuff.
Be a fun one to go to. Next up, 12:30 on the C-Dub, right after Moesha. You got your Oregon State Beavers.
It would be funny if it was actually after Moesha.
Sister leads into it. I'd be all for it. It's a good show.
How about Fire?
Fired. Oregon State is at
Scott
home.
Bray, or Scott Bray. Actually, you call him Scott Bray. Barnes and Bray in the intro.
Fired. Taking on the ghost of Pac-2's past, that is Jake Dickert in his his Wake Forest Demon Deacons. My apologies. Wake Forest at Oregon State. Oregon State in this game at home is a 2.5-point underdog.
Oregon State's a 2.5-point underdog.
They are.
I'll take Wake Forest. They just need to win by a field goal?
They just need to win
I've
by
seen
a
Wake
field goal.
Forest be good. I've barely seen that from Oregon State. At
You
any
guys
one
have had
point.
chances.
I just need to make up games, so I will have some faith that they're just fed up.
This
that
isn't the way.
This is not the way. Don't do it.
Somehow.
You've already done it. You just did the opposite of Washington State.
Well,
Ole
I got a
Miss.
lot of ground to make up.
You gonna yin and yang
I
on
need
this
some
one?
Hail Marys here.
I'm
go deep.
I'm the gal on the floor at the
50-50
Matrix
ball.
movie. No, not like this.
Not like this.
And then she's just unplugged. That's me to you right now. Not
can-
like this, man.
Yeah.
Guess what, buddy?
I'll take the
This is a straight up win then.
I'm doing it too. Dude, they're gonna get somebody. They're gonna get somebody. It's gonna happen. Wake Forest, we can say that they've looked good. I'm not going to sit here and pretend as if I've watched every Wake Forest game because I certainly have not.
What would Oregon State do against Georgia Tech?
Probably get blown out.
They should have beaten Georgia Tech.
That was a trap spot for Georgia Tech.
Oh, yeah.
Coming off a big win. Letdown spot.
Okay.
For the Jackets.
Okay.
The advanced analytics tell me Oregon State should be 4-2 this year.
Cool. Advanced analytics don't actually give you a record.
They got a new special teams coordinator.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
they do.
Now they know how to hike it and kick it.
A week ago, they didn't have anybody
Hike
to
it
help them
and
do
kick it.
that.
Now
but
they do. They found the guy.
Okay,
They
yeah,
found the guy.
okay,
They
all
got
right.
the answers. At
Okay.
home cooking. They're mutters. It's going to be wet. This is the game. Give
App
me the
State,
beats.
I got it. This one, if you're right.
Hey, I took App State last week, so I was the only one.
No, and I understood why. I would
I'm
have
on a
taken
heater
them
with
too.
the beats right now. Don't question my heater. Last but not least, 12:30 right here on the Fan.
This is going to be the game that Beaver fan tells themselves Bray needs to stay.
We are so back. We are so back. Last but not least, 12:30 CBS and right here on the Fan, the Vegas consensus line on this game's come down during the week, down to 7.5. Oregon minus 7.5 at home against Indiana.
This is becoming, I feel like, and maybe I'm just allowing Pate to skew this, but that number wasn't as high as I thought it would be. I feel like this is becoming a bit of a trendy pick for Indiana plus the points.
Look ahead spot a week ago was 10.5, I believe, and it's
Right.
come down to 7.5.
I will be fading the logic here. I will be taking Oregon minus 7.5.
I too will be
God,
on
you're
the
such a
Ducks.
duck honk.
There's such a physical difference at the line of scrimmage, but I think Oregon's got enough speed to match. That's the one thing Indiana's relied on speed, but I think the Ducks have just as much speed where they need it to neutralize
Recruiting
that.
weekend, they're not overlooking Indiana. Indiana's
No.
top 10 team.
Yeah, I think
and
that-
as quiet as Dan Lanning has been publicly this week, I think it's a similar behind the scenes whenever the next video comes out. Yeah.
Oh, we already know what the theme is this week. The theme is blinders. Got to have your blinders on like
Exactly.
Secretariat.
Exactly.
Can't see anything. Huh? Looking straight ahead. Run your race, baby. If this was a game where, like,
They plan these before the season, and they're like,
definitely do.
I think you
can't
might
change
have
it now.
two.
Well, I wonder if
Ducks-
James Franklin did any of that. Now they're 3-2. Like, gotta
I think you
scrap
might
all
have
that.
Two
All
different
that
Ducks.
messaging's out the window.
Two different Ducks rushing over 100 yards.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about Washington and their schedule and how hard it's been, and they've been kind of screwed over with playing teams off of buys and all that. Like, this is one of those. If you had beaten Penn State and come home and played Indiana the next week, and Indiana was off of a bye, there's a lot more there for me. The tricky part of picking this game is twofold for me. One, I do believe in Mendoza and think he's a very good quarterback, and two, the weather might have a big impact. Now, does it hurt you? Does it help you? Indiana can run the ball. You can run the ball. They both like their front sevens. I'm worried about their linebackers in the RPO game, Oregon's that is. I don't think their linebacker play has been great this year. Sans some picks from Jerry Mixon, and Betcher is a great story, but there's times that I think he struggles a little bit in the run game. And so are you getting your eyes in the backfield? They're doing the RPOs, throwing it behind you. That's a concern for me. That's a strength of Indiana's offense. But because Oregon's off of the bye, and they're just sitting at home, and it's a big game, and game day's in town, like I think you're going to get Oregon's best shot, is what I should say. I don't think you're going to get a lackluster effort at all for Oregon, and I'll take them to cover the 7.5 in this game. There you go. Big Pack Picks every Thursday at a roving time. Sometimes it's at 8:30. Sometimes it's at 8:45. Sometimes it's at 9, and we love picking those games. Let's get to a pivotal Game 5. Where is the pucker factor? We'll dive into that, get into Thursday Night Football at the bottom of the hour. Back after this, 105.1 FM The Fan.
a.m.
Well, all of a sudden, Friday nights turned into a interesting little sports night in the city of Seattle. What's Softy going to do? Is he going to the M's game or is he going to the Husky game? What's he doing? What's Softy doing up there?
Oh, I think in this instance it has to be the Mariner game.
It's a bigger game. It's game 5.
Does he do like pre?
That's a good point. I don't know if he can. He might have to be at the Husky game.
I think he does some pre or post.
It's not that far from T-Mobile.
Is that the? I don't know. I'm not good at my geography up there.
If traffic isn't horrendous at that point,
because that's usually not a problem in Seattle.
The Mariners game got moved to 5 because there's only one game.
So it's 5 o'clock, and then the Husky game starts at 6.
You know what I bet he does? Yeah. He's double dipping the chip. He's going to be there for the first quarter and a half, and then he'll leave the Husky game, and he'll go to the Mariner playoff game.
Well, this happened on our airwaves yesterday. Now, I've not heard this, so we're going to go through this journey together.
Yeah, Russ cut it, and
Russ just told me about it as I was coming back in from the break.
I walked out. I'm a little disappointed. I thought Patrick Harris was wearing a Tiger hat today, but it's a Portland Diamond Project hat, because that would have been a pretty funny troll.
Well, I mean, he literally became a Mariner fan for a year.
He did. But now he's not a Mariner fan anymore, so I didn't know if he was, trolling his former team. I don't know how this works, the moving around of teams. But they pointed me to something that happened on our airwaves yesterday.
Yeah, during primetime.
Now, this was during primetime because I know he filled in for Luke for happy hour.
Well, maybe that was
so I think it was during happy hour.
That.
Yesterday, we talked about on the show, was the anniversary of the Edgar Martinez double down the line. Mariners are going to play
Game 5
for the American League Championship Series.
ALDS.
And evidently, Schulte was either playing it or reciting it while Riley Green hit a massive
I was told he was
reciting
it.
Okay, well, let's go through this audio journey together on a tough one for Jordan Schultz.
We can do that right now.
Can we do that right
now?
now?
Yeah, it is the 30th anniversary of this historic Mariners play that I think most people agree that kept them in Seattle.
They would love a base hit into the gap, and they could win it with junior speed to stretch. And the 0-1 pitch on the way to Edgar Martinez. Swung on the line, down the left field line for a base hit. Here comes Joy. Here is Junior to third base. They're going to wave him in. The throw to the plate will be late. The Mariners are going to play for the American League Championship.
No! 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 Sorry to ruin that classic moment.
My TV is behind yours.
Down the left field line, and they are going crazy at the Kingdom.
Wow, that one was a no-doubter.
Well, they're going crazy now in Detroit at Comerica Park because Riley Green, ladies and gentlemen, just hit a solo home run to right field off of GameSpire. Damn it.
You had to go ruin that happy moment, didn't you, Schultz?
Sucks.
By the way, that was on the happy hour.
That was, because he was filling in for Luke yesterday doing the happy hour.
The funniest thing is that happening during him filling in for Luke on happy hour, and then me getting in the car yesterday around 4-ish and hearing him cocky sniffing about getting to face Scooball at home in Game 5.
What are they, 3-0 against him now on the year?
3-0.
2-0 in the regular season, and
yes.
then one Game 2. And so they've beaten him before. He's starting Game 5, where if you're a Mariner fan...
I don't know. I'm not a Mariner fan. I don't know. I asked Luke, because Luke came in. He's a Mariner fan.
Yes, Luke's a big M's guy.
And I said, I didn't tell him the Schulte part, but Schulte sounded mighty confident. Like, this is a done deal type vibe. And I said,
done this. We know how to.
Where are you at? Cocky, nervous, excited? He's like, yeah.
Just
all of it.
Yeah.
Now, I think you brought up a good point. They're probably going to go both Kirby, Castillo, do whatever it takes.
Everybody
you empty the bag.
Yeah.
On deck, yes.
But I just found it interesting. Hold it to see if they do it for the 4th time, because it's not saying they can't. I picked the New England World Series, so piss off, Mariner fan. The arrogance to have, we're just going to beat the best pitcher in the AL
4 times in 1 year.
In a winner-take-all game.
And traditionally, you don't have that history. It's just
goofy
like, okay.
crap happens in winner-take-all games.
Yeah.
And also, are those bats alive now? Because I literally text you guys, that feels like 18-0.
Your timing yesterday was phenomenal. We can even, Mariner fan, if you want to send your hate mail to anybody, send it to Brandon Sprague.
Send it to the bullpen. Send it to the bullpen.
Because I read your text, and I was kind of doing the little guy had just gone down for a nap. I was getting some stuff done.
The offense failed them at a crucial point.
They had the bases loaded with nobody out, and they grounded into a double play, and they only scored one run. That was the game.
They
right
had a
there.
chance to kind of put their foot on them early in the game and make it 5 or 6-0.
If you hit a bases clearing double in that moment, the game is over and you're in the ALCS. Take a walk. Hit a sacrifice fly. Even just score one. Don't hit it into a double play, right? Because they just had one. But you texted this, and it's hilarious because I had the same exact thought that you did. When the M's went up 3-0, when Raleigh hit that RBI single and Arozarena scored, you're just like, it's over. Detroit can't score 4 runs in a game.
They couldn't get it out of the infield.
They couldn't get a hit.
Everything was going to Naylor, and their crowd was booing them.
The entire series, they haven't gotten a hit. And then in the next 20 minutes, they had more offense than they have in the last month and a half.
1:30 p.m. I sent to you guys. 2-0 felt like 10-0. 3-0 feels like 18-0 with this Tigers offense.
Yes.
And literally the bottom half of the next
minutes
inning.
later.
Tie game.
Dan Campbell went into the dugout and fired him up.
I responded, well, they scored 18.
Yeah, that's, look, you love that you're at home, so you love that aspect of it. That crowd should be incredible on Friday night. Your history is your history. You can't control that right now. I don't know if I would feel great facing a Cy Young Award winner for the 4th time knowing you're 3-0 against him. That's one of those things of like a law of averages has to win out at some point, right? Mm-hmm. Like he's got to have one of these 15 Ks. You're not touching me, 2 hits. I'm going to dominate you and shut the door. So it just depends on how you view it. Are you a glass half full guy or a glass half empty guy? I would not certainly be an optimistic Mariner fan because there's not much in your history to make you optimistic. But if you want to go into Friday night and feel that way, be my guest. I'm excited for it. Friday night's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be a standalone game, and you get to see one of the best arms in baseball go on the road in a tough environment against a team he hasn't been able to beat. That's going to be an awesome game.
And can
5.
George Kirby be George Kirby and be the strikeout guy? Can he match him? You'd love for this to be like
he was outstanding in game 1.
Jack Morris game type of thing where it's 1-0 or scoreless going into what?
Why you got to bring that one up?
Well, how many scoreless games into the 10th inning in the playoffs do you witness?
Not very often does it happen.
No, I mean, cocky Mariner fan, in my opinion, shouldn't exist. Happy, optimistic, excited, nervous. Yeah, dude, you've had no history to really speak of. I'd go into this with just like, what do we have to lose? I mean, you could say, well, the playoffs, but I'd say, we're the Mariners.
Yeah. That first run is going to feel so important in that game.
Yep.
If you give up like a 2-run bomb in the second inning, you're going
to hear an entire stadium clinch at the same time. All the pants will just go in.
And it doesn't mean it's over because they came back one. I guess they weren't losing in game 2. Or no, they were. They fell down, didn't they? 3-2, and then they tied it up and then took the lead, maybe? Or maybe they blew the lead and then retook the lead. I can't remember. But the point is, it doesn't mean the game is over, but it just, that first run, whenever you're in a winner-take-all game like that with all that pressure on you, that first run feels like it's just a climbing Mount Everest. And if you get it and you jump on them, bottom of the first inning, you get some offense right out of the gate, you feel great.
Yep.
Eases everybody into the game. A couple of M's texts coming in. One said the M's have as good a chance of beating him 4 times in a row as Sprague does at hitting a 14 parlay.
Whoa.
It's not going to happen.
Whoa.
Just an early spring in the line hit right there.
What did I do?
What did I do to you? And then another one, extremely nervous. Anything happens in October, and it's winner take all. Every game before this game doesn't matter. If you don't win this game, it's all for nothing.
It's gonna be.
That's the hard part with it.
I mean, it's going to be very disappointing to lose that, and I know they've lost.
And you had a
before,
3-0 lead in game 4. Like, you had the lead. You're counting outs almost at that point of, like, we're dominating them. We have a 3-0 lead. Detroit's offense stinks. Like, just get outs, and we're going to the ALCS.
I mean, I told you guys earlier, like, Vegas had them literally during the 3-0 lead as the second favorite to win the World Series.
Yeah, we all thought the game was over.
How did you watch that game and not feel that way?
Yes. Yeah, or have watched the entire series and think their offense isn't going to find anything. So we'll see. Game 5, we'll have some more on that tomorrow. Game 5 will be tomorrow night. We get 2 NL games again today. This might be the only Game 5 we get. If we get a Dodger win today and a Brewer win today, it's the only Game 5 we get in the divisional round before the ALCS.
Matty Boyd on the mound for the Cubbies today.
Hopefully we get more. That'd be fun. They'd be both on Saturday. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, they would be Saturday.
Okay, and then when would the
ALCS
When would the ALCS start?
Sunday night.
Sunday night. Okay,
so that one will be right here on the Fan because the Seahawks play early at Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's right, early start.
So that'll be around 4 o'clock-ish.
We'll see, man. A lot of pressure. Good luck. There's nothing like the emotional roller coaster that is a winner-take-all baseball game. And sitting on the edge of your couch. Game 1s are intense. Game 2s, we get it. Like, you're riding and dying with every pitch. Winner-take-all games, man. You lose like 4 years of your life watching that, just waiting for moments to happen.
Playoff baseball just breaks your heart differently.
Not for the faint of heart, dude.
Or you, Darvish, can't, throw.
Or you, Darvish, can't get out of the first inning.
Over before it starts.
All right. Your thoughts are welcome. We'll talk more about that game tomorrow. Let's get to Thursday Night Football. We already have a players-only meeting for one of the best teams in the NFL. And how do we feel about the matchup tonight? Do I have two poo-poos for this game? We'll get to that coming up next. But first, here's us with a fact.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, the Las Vegas Aces on the verge of a WNBA final sweep. Asia Wilson with the game winner in Game 3 with 0.3 seconds
Tough shot
to go.
too, man.
To beat the Mercury 90-88. And public service announcement, home opener, season opener for the Kraken. The Lane Lambert era begins tonight at 7 o'clock against the Anaheim Ducks.
I got two things to get to. One, this is funny. LeBron is now being sued for $865.66 for a Laker fan saying he was duped by LeBron James' second decision.
I bought the tickets.
He bought the tickets. How about this one? This is a random one. Nobody knows how long lobsters live. Did you know that?
No.
The age of a lobster you eat is usually between the ages of 7 to 9. Scientists have no idea at all how long lobsters live. They think it's between 50 and 100 years. They have zero evidence to conclude what the actual number is.
Let's all take a quick chuckle at one of the dumbest mistakes that we've seen a athletic department make in a while, and we've made fun of a lot of one local university a ton for doing bad hires and all that stuff. North Carolina yesterday leaking that they're finding a potential exit strategy for Bill Belichick. What are they, 5 games in? What are they, 2 and 3?
5 games in.
Not even halfway through the season, and then having to release a statement acting as if they're not trying to find an exit strategy, while also leaking to the media that his players might be breaking the rules by selling their own tickets for cash, and that's the cause they're going to use to fire him. Dude, I'm here for it. I'm the popcorn guy eating all of it watching this dumpster fire.
More WNBA, NHL, lobster, and college football stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of the a.m.
All right, I forgot this. Before we get to Thursday Night Football, try and put a smile on your face. See if it does it. Your football program, Brandon Sprague, did the thing that we've all been saying, like, hey, why didn't you do this a long time ago? You finally fired your special teams coach this week.
Scott Barnes did.
Scott Barnes, man of action. That's what we call him. Man of action. Never slow to react.
Anybody
Always
seen
on his
him?
toes.
Anybody seen from him?
Is he out there? Do we know? Well, you have a new special teams coordinator / coach. He's an interim guy, and his name is Rob Akey.
Yeah, I believe he is either the son or he is the father of Trent Bray's assistant.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
There's like a family
There's
tie.
a family tie in there of why he's
Yeah.
on the staff. Okay.
Yeah, which is why somebody at the press conference was like, why is the other guy not fired that's a part of this? And he's like, well, he just does the film stuff for us. He doesn't actually plan anything.
Yeah, he's not actually doing anything.
So I think it might be the dad or the son. I can't get confused, but somebody texted me
Okay.
a while back and told me what the situation
Well,
was.
I saw this yesterday from Ryan Clark, our good friend, covers the beat for the Oregonian, does a great job doing it, and he had this video put out, and he was like, you know what, this is finally something related to Oregon State that can make you smile. And Rob Akey, their new special teams coach, was asked about the struggles and all the issues that they've gone through and how painful it's been. And I thought he gave maybe the best 90 seconds of Oregon State season. Oop, I don't know if it's letting me play it, Swag. Fire off.
Back to that.
Wait, holding. Wait for it.
There's no way in the world that the outside world can put any more pressure on us than we already put on ourselves. You know, if you got we've got a great nation out there that wants to see us win. Well, that's our lives too, and we live it, and it's our lives all day, every day, and it affects our families and everybody we know and all that kind of stuff. So I don't look at it as being pressure. That's expectation, and that's our expectation of what we do. And our expectation is how we, as a Beaver family, are going to go about making it happen. Rob Akey ain't going to make the difference. This is Coach Bray's football team, but it's our football team, and that's where us bound together and paying attention to finishing. You know, we've been so damn close in the last few weeks, and close don't mean a damn thing. I understand that. We understand that more than anything. Yeah. It drives us more crazy than anybody could even imagine because we see it as it's happening, and you see the things are, and watching these guys and the pain that's in their eyes because they're working their tails off, and it's not easy to be in the situation they are right now because they're working their asses off, and the the finish hasn't happened yet. And when it's closer, that makes it taste even worse, if that makes sense what I'm saying. and so we want it to happen for them. As they let's go back to why we do what we do. We want it to happen. We want to see them be smiling when they come off the field again. You know, my family might like it when I come home and see me smile again. I don't know. The dogs still talk to me, so I think that's a good thing.
Dude, first of all, that's an all-time great college football assistant coach.
Doesn't he just sound like he's
Yes, he's a lifer.
Been around.
Right?
I got a lot of lines. I got a lot of zingers.
By the way,
very refreshing.
The special teams quality control guy is Rob Akey's kid.
Okay.
That's why Bray was asked, why was he not let go if Christian was also let go?
Right. Don't you clean house with the entire department?
And Bray's like, well, he just cuts up the film for us. He doesn't actually plan anything. And it's like, no, his dad is on the staff, so clearly you're not going to fire
He's not going to get fired.
the kid.
Nice little breath of fresh air. The dog line there at the end, at least the dog still talked to me, was pretty solid. I just, one-liners from coaches. Sometimes you need a little levity and be able to laugh about a situation, and that was a breath of fresh air, I thought.
We had a listener that was, because we did the flip it or stick it, and I think I said 3 and 9. I looked at Sam Houston Lafayette, and okay, maybe they get somebody, right? And they're like, why you trust them? I was like, I don't trust them. I'm just saying I think they could randomly
They're
win
not going to
3.
go winless.
It's not a trust factor.
They're not going to go 0-12.
They might, but I just went 3 and 9. Regardless, there isn't a lot of trust there, and there shouldn't be. They haven't earned it. Like, you can't keep telling us you're close, but you lose. That kind of means you're not close. You just find different ways to lose. You can't tell me, though, it's not a universal, why is that number only 2? Like, Wake Forest isn't world beaters. They're a better football team than you.
It's an ACC team.
Robbie Ashford's been in college for 15 years.
Yeah.
He was an
Oregon
Oregon
Duck legend.
in 2009. I mean, it's crazy how long this guy's been around. That line only being 2, maybe it is them this weekend. Maybe they do get got. But Yeah, man, I just that's the best thing that's happened to my program
That's what you
in
got.
maybe 3 months is Rob Akey giving us an answer about special teams.
And talking about his dogs, at least talk to him still.
I also love that he slid in, well, it ain't Rob Akey, it's Trent Racing.
This
Like,
ain't
I
my
love-
team. I don't have nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
I just been
like,
sitting
it's
around
like-
watching, man.
In case a field goal gets blocked, remember, this ain't Rob Akey.
I just took over here. I'm new around these parts.
I know he didn't mean it that way. But
I know. And then he immediately was like, well, it's all our team. He immediately figured out what he said there. Now that's going to age poorly. We'll get to Thursday Night Football. Thoughts on the game? What do we make of Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, and A.J. Brown have a players-only meeting this week?
I mean, you blew a 17-3 lead. You should talk about that. I don't really
Just
care.
It sounds like it was just the three of them. Just the three guys. The three amigos. Nobody else involved. It's a players-only meeting with only three players.
Did they do the three amigos hip thrust together to break the meeting?
I also want to know who's the leaker here. If it's only three guys, who's the leaker?
It's easily A.J. Brown.
You think A.J. Brown's the leaker?
Yeah. If you were to guess who the leaker is between those three, who would you say it is?
Yeah, probably A.J. Brown.
He's kind of funny to watch
It's
during
not
these games.
Hurts. Hurts doesn't say anything to anybody.
No,
about
he
anything.
doesn't talk at
Barkley
any time.
likes to chatter.
He does a little bit.
But when you watch
Saquon would pass it off as nothing. He's like, oh, we got together.
When you watch A.J. Brown, even in the midst of them being up big last weekend, having watched that, every other play, he just looks disgusted that he didn't get the ball. His body language is just reeks of, damn, man.
Give me the football.
So I think it's Saquon maybe more bridging together Jalen and A.J. because Jalen certainly is going to handle this like a mature adult.
Yes.
It's more like, yo, A.J., if you don't get a touch in the first half, man.
Because how many
Go
seasons,
read your book on the sideline and take a deep breath, man.
How many seasons was OBJ there with Saquon? Like, he's used to somebody.
In New York?
Yeah.
Did they cross over?
I got to think, because wasn't he there 4 years, 4 or 5 before he
was,
left?
but remember, you had OBJ in Cleveland for a while. You
No, I
had OBJ.
know.
OBJ was on the Rams Super Bowl team. How many years ago was that?
Was that long ago?
Yeah. What year did they win the Super Bowl? 2021? That was the year after COVID, if I'm not wrong. They beat the Bengals, and OBJ
So
was on that
OBJ's
team.
last year in New York was 2018.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so
I
they
don't
did,
think
and that might have
Saquon
been
was there.
Barkley's
Saquon
rookie
wasn't
year.
in the NFL in 2018?
That might have been his rookie year.
Maybe his rookie year.
None of us know.
I have no idea. But yeah,
Give me a second.
Hold on, I got Saquon right here. Saquon's rookie year was 2018, so they played 1 year together.
1 year.
Nah, he was too young to do anything. He wasn't going to say anything to Odell
Well, he wasn't
Beckham.
going to say anything, but
He's watching him fight a net.
He's seen drama from wide receivers.
He saw the big
well,
drama
I would say,
at that
like, I don't
point.
even think you need to use the Giants
He's
as the
been
example.
there for 2 years.
Use Philly as the example. This happened with A.J. Brown last year. Remember, he was reading the, like, self-help book on the site, whatever it was, and it rose to the #1 bestseller because he wasn't getting the football. Their passing game's not very good. So he's frustrated. This isn't anything new for Philly. They're still 4-1. We'll get into that game a little bit. Talk about the National League Playoff Series. Do they come to an end today, or do we get a couple of more Game 5s over the weekend? Answer some poll questions. Wrap it all up next. 105.1 FM The Fan. Hey, you can always count on Paramount Plus. Sundays with the NFL on CBS. Stream your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long, starting at just $30 for your first year. That's like $250 a month. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started.
Look at you math whiz.
You like that? I can do that math right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I got a poo-poo indicator from Jason Swigard. Do I get a poo-poo indicator from Brandon Sprague for Thursday Night Football tonight?
Well, what's the measurement of poo-pooing? Is it just an Eagle blowout win is the poo-pooing?
I would imagine so. Not giving much chance for Jackson Dart to get a big win at home.
Well, Dart's offense really struggled against that Saint defense after a quick start, so it's hard to see it, but it's Thursday. It's short. We've poo-pooed too many times on this game.
Eagles coming off a physical game against Denver and now going on the road.
I think there's a little bit of the Philly like, hey, we know you're legitimate. You probably still the cream of the crop until somebody dethrones you, but Barkley's season's not gone amazingly, and that offense is funky.
Yes,
so
it is.
It's a Giant team that has some respectable pieces in different positions. Like, go handle your business. It's on the road, correct? In New York.
In New York at MetLife Stadium.
Barkley absolutely torched them when he's played them. So go handle your business on the road. Some Philly fans will be there, and another opportunity, I guess, to see what Jackson Dart can do against some pretty stiff competition.
Jalen Hurts only 110 yards away from 1,000 passing yards on the season. Well done, Jalen Hurts, getting to that category. I don't know if I'm going to gamble the side tonight. Philly
we're not glued to this game, but we'll have it on.
Yes. I think that's a good way of putting it. The difficulty is the Amazon Prime games trying to flip back and forth with the baseball playoffs going on. I think I'll stay away from touching Philly minus 7.5. I don't have enough faith in a rookie quarterback against that defense covering the number at home. This seems like it. And now, to be fair, I'm an idiot. I would have said this last Thursday, and boy, points exploded in San Francisco, L.A.
Yeah, last few Thursdays have been surprising.
They've been surprising. I'm going to lean under again tonight. Philly's offense has been abysmal for the majority of the year. The Giants, I don't think, are prepared to move the ball consistently against that Philly front, and it's a rookie quarterback and that big, kind of in its first primetime spotlight game. You tell me this thing's 17-13 or 17-10. I'm not surprised in the least. I think I'm going to take the under.
Under might be the play. I would add two from the Bronco-Philly game, and the Bronco defense has its moments where it certainly looks the best. That defensive line was kind of wrecking Philadelphia, putting them under pressure.
Dickerson's banged up again. He's been in and out of the lineup.
It was the only thing that kind of kept them in that ball game before they made their comeback. I'll be curious to see if the Giant defensive line can get a similar pressure, put Hurts in a little bit of a panic mode. And if you can kind of shore up the deep ball, which is a tough thing to do with Devonta Smith, we know A.J. Brown wants the football. I mean,
Giants got a good defense, man.
Maybe the Giants find themselves in a game going into the fourth quarter, which I think is Thursday Night Football fans. As much as we don't like the game existing, that's all you can hope for.
All you're asking for. Yeah, their game last week against New Orleans was largely based on just kind of random turnover luck. Like, they had a lead early, and then they just started fumbling the ball left and right.
Dart had a bad one.
Dart had a bad fumble, and he threw a bad pick.
Yeah.
The second pick for him was just like, it's a Hail Mary at that point, so I'm not going to put that one on him. But the fumble luck and the turnover luck started to mount against them. So if they can hold on to the football, their defense has been outstanding. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. We get two games in the National League tonight. Philly's on the road in L.A. That is the first game tonight. They flipped orders. We get a night, late game at Wrigley Field. Philly in L.A., that is the early start at 3 o'clock, so a little daylight still out, 80 degrees. Glasnow versus Sanchez. Is it over in L.A.?
I'm going to say yeah. I will take the Dodgers to eliminate the Philadelphia Phillies, although I know Swag is going to be terrified of this game because that Philly lineup. Other side, I mean, Brew Crew winning, okay, but I'm gonna lean
Dodgers
on
is your favorite pick tonight?
Yeah.
Dodgers and Cubs?
I'll be rooting hard for Matty Boyd.
Yeah, I think they both come to an end tonight. I didn't know how to feel yesterday. Game 3, you get that desperation similar to New York and Toronto, and then it kind of resets itself. LA, again, I don't see Philly going off against them the way that they did in Game 3. And the Brewers had a ton of chances in Game 3. Like, they had so many opportunities.
Bases loaded.
Dude, constantly throughout that game. You're like, okay, here comes the big hit, and it just didn't quite come for him. I think it does today. Although Boyd winning a big game with his backstory would be very cool. I don't have a super rooting interest there. I think they do come to an end tonight, though. I'll take the Brewers and the Dodgers. Let's see if we got any poll questions out today. What do we got today?
We got a few of them.
You got a few? Let me pull them
up. I didn't do a lot of them today.
All right, hold on. Give me a second.
I got them right here. Here's the first poll question. Are you a fan of your sports team or teams because of your dad?
I am. Yes, I am. That's what I voted.
That's the only other poll question.
Yeah. 54-46 is your split. Yes to no on that one.
Yeah, I think most people end up getting their fandom from their parents.
That sounds about right. There you go. Good little show. If you missed it, go check the podcast, 1051thefan.com, 1051thefan on Twitter, at Dirt & Sprague on Twitter. We'll tweet it out here as soon as we're done. We had Josh Padon, the commissioner of college football, for his thoughts on Oregon, Indiana, and the rest of the slate this weekend, including a big game in Los Angeles for USC against Michigan. Tomorrow, the Indiana play-by-play guy will join us at
Don Fisher.
Don Fisher at 6:15.
Bright and early.
Bright and early daily ticker tomorrow. It's the earliest one we've ever had, but that's the way it worked for his travel schedule, so we'll talk some more Indiana. We'll get you all set for your big football weekend. We'll see how the baseball goes and preview a massive Game 5 tomorrow night in Seattle. That will do it for us. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel on YouTube if you haven't done so yet. Thanks for being a part of our Thursday. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 6 a.m. The Firm of Harrison Meringue is next. You're listening to 105.1 FM The Fan.
Brett Evans here to help you beat the